Learn University of Secured Party Creditor courses at your own pace and become a secured party creditor. Take control of your education and financial freedom. Learn university courses at your own pace and discover the secrets to becoming a secured party creditor. And these video courses will show you how to break free from the constraints of traditional learning and unlock the doors to a more secure financial future. Whether you're looking to upskill or you're facing child support, child custody, foreclosure, traffic issues, student loans, discharging of debts, foreclosure, or want to skill or simply take control of your financial destiny, these video courses are for you. Get ready to transform your life and start building the financial. All right, Qadar's supposed to be doing this. I'm not sure where he is. He was just on the other joint. Me sending the link again.
Come.
What's going on, Fernando? How does it feel to keep your hands in Kahan Tazadak's pocket like everyone else, man? Eric
That's
White,
cool. That's
Fernando.
cool.
Yeah, Eric White right there on the call.
I
It's
see him.
Qadar, man. Qadar was supposed to be holding this Bible study, man. Kahan Tazadok is not doing it. Be on too much. Where's that Simpson? Gotta fall in love every time you meet an E. Just sent in the link again. I'm not sure what's going on here, you all. But anyways, until Qadar gets here and some mods, I'll talk about some current events. We got 19 people in Rumble. Only 2 thumbs up. Give a thumbs up as you come in the room. So I guess you guys know tonight is the little night. The little night that they're gonna decide whether they're gonna fix the presidential race or let it be decided fair and square.
Yep. Election day. Yeah. I was looking at the news, And it looks like Republicans about to take a win.
That's propaganda, man. You don't know what to trust about that. But if anything, you know, other than Trump winning, I see it as complete propaganda. Somebody want to give Qadar a call up. He's supposed to be doing his Bible study.
Hmm.
All right, I got you.
Will Sims, what's going on with him, man? Since he got that woman, man.
What was the topic going to be about tonight?
I don't know. Qadar's holding it.
Come on.
I have no clue, huh? He was just on the other call with us. Maybe he's having some technical difficulties. I rushed off the other call to get over here.
He probably still talking on the other one.
Nah. I told him to get off. I ended that call.
Hmm.
He said he's coming on.
How's that host going to be late? Oh, I don't know. So, yeah, you said you watched the news and the Republicans were winning?
That's what I was saying. It was saying 53% red, 47 blue.
Oh, oh, you talking about the presidential? I'm seeing the Republicans taking care of them in the other joints, man. Like 70%. Kramer got 70% to 20-some percent. Okay, who voting for Kim over Bashar? Yeah, Henrik. Race for the Senate. Democrat.
They got most of the viewers on Rumble tonight, or
Yeah, it's on Rumble. It's not on YouTube. It's on the old YouTube, but it's on Rumble. Senate, Wyoming. Listen, man, whoever wins the Senate, that's gonna have a large thing on the electoral votes, man. The state of Wyoming, isn't that a swing state? Yeah. Republicans taking care of them, boy. King, brother King. Oh yeah, Beam. Florida, Republicans. Florida, another Republican. Yeah, man. Oh man, the Republicans giving it to him. Florida, another Republican. Wow. Florida, another Republican. Mills, giving it to him, baby. Yeah, 62%. Florida, another in the House. 60. Another Republican. Florida again. California. Republicans taking care of them. Here's one Democrat, one in Florida. 62% over 37. But we go back to the Republicans with Webster.
Qadar's in the back room.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he's right there.
Yeah. Gia. Yeah. Republicans giving it to him, boy. Look at that, man.
Shalom, Akim. Yeah, Florida red, all red. Come.
No, they had a couple blues here. Florida again. Boy, Republicans just running all over them, man. Florida is not a swing state, though.
All that propaganda couldn't stop this.
Yeah.
It's done.
Lopez better get on his moped. You know what I mean? Because you lost. Yeah. Gia. He talking or what? Because I'm not hearing nothing, man. You could go ahead, Qadar. I was just
Your
looking at
movie
this.
is really funny. It's really funny. Laughing out loud hysterically today.
It is one of the most important contributions to cinema in American history.
Your goal is to conduct an investigation into something key to the culture war.
There were so many great moments in there.
Were these people real?
Trump taking care of a boy. Look at that. Trump taking care of a man. I told you, man.
Ah.
I made a bet with my grandma. She owed me 100. I'll take that.
Oh.
Yeah, it's crazy. They got that the Trump interview with that MMA guy. It was censored.
Kansas. Wow.
You got no influence over no Trump, man. It's just not happening. Man.
Trump taking care of a boy. Not even close, man. Not even close, man. Now what? Now what? Now what? Now what? Connecticut? What? Connecticut?
Washington, D.C.
See, the electoral votes, man, that's what's most important. And you got California is one of those big electoral states, and that's a Democratic state.
I'm surprised Kansas looking. They say it's too soon though.
Boston, man, hold on, man. All these white people voting for her.
That ain't make no sense.
That don't make no sense, man. Maine too.
70.
What does that mean? Race called?
Wait a minute. Hold on. For Maine, there was only 51 votes for the Democratic side and 7 for the Republican. That can't be the whole state.
Trump taking care of him, boy.
Right.
Shout out to Donnie, man.
Dodging
Well, you
bullets
got
and
about 3
everything.
hours before it's decided, man. New Jersey, all of these states going out like that, man. I'm not rocking with them anymore. New York, that's a Democratic state. That's why I got the hell out of there, man. They didn't show the ratings for New York.
Rhode Island.
All these states that you think will go with Trump, all these white people, they go with her. Rhode Island's like a little white state, man. For real.
South Dakota ain't done yet. Tennessee, of course. No. Texas, Texas better be Trump. Too soon to call. Okay.
I don't even know where Vermont is.
West Virginia, of course. Okay.
Wyoming.
They ain't done yet. 3 electoral votes.
Senate.
Connecticut, man.
Delaware? Rick Scott.
Republicans gonna take over the whole house. Yeah.
Of course, Alabama.
So the swing states Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Nevada, Arizona, North Carolina, and Georgia. And Trump's taking care of her ass in Georgia, man. What?
I was surprised he got Colorado.
Who got Colorado?
They showed Kamala had it.
I'm not surprised, man. That's why they was. That's why them damn. They was setting up those damn places for the migrants, right out there.
Yeah, that's true.
They had a safe haven for the migrants. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, Colorado is almost like a Seattle, Washington kind of.
Yeah,
real liberal over there.
Rules out there. Nevada, Arizona, Georgia. Trump is taking care of them, baby. Remember, Georgia's a Republican state, man.
Oh.
Yeah. Nevada? Come on, man. Where y'all rednecks, man? You rednecks need to step up the bat, man. Go and vote for Trump. I'm going to sit your ass out in the sun if you vote wrong. If you vote for Kamala Harris, you just might be a redneck. Nebraska. You would think Trump would take that. Just call Trump. Race call Trump. Oh, she won Jersey. New York. She won. There are no numbers there though. Race call Trump, Oklahoma. Race call Rhode Island, her by a small margin. Race call South Carolina, Trump. Yeah. Remember South Dakota, Trump, big margin. Tennessee, Trump, big margin. Texas, Trump, don't mess with Texas. Vermont, her by a big damn landslide. Trump, killing them in West Virginia, man. Wave your rebel flags. Wyoming, Trump. Trump's ahead. They got a check right there. Connecticut, man, I'm really ashamed of that state, man. I don't like them anymore. Delaware. Senate. Okay, you got a Republican in the Senate. Another Republican in the Senate. Get out of here, McCray. Damn, she slaughtered him. Warren did. Minnesota. Yeah, Wicker.
So you need 270 electoral college votes to win. And Trump has 154 right now. Well, she got 30.
Well, then you take it home, huh?
Man, Trump's gonna win this thing by a landslide.
Oh.
Then he's gonna talk shit.
Yeah. I can hear him now.
I told you we did it. We did it. I'm gonna fix the country. I'm gonna fix. Get out of here. Get out of here. Kamala, get out of here. We're gonna fix the country. Give it to these immigrants. We're gonna send them back. We're gonna send them back. All of them. We're sending them back. We're gonna send them back.
Calling all contractors. We're building the wall.
Oh man. Hey, but that's crazy though how they took that Joe Rogan interview with Donald Trump. They still got it censored.
Don't matter. It's not needed, man. It don't matter. It can't stop Donnie, man. It doesn't really matter. Who cares? How come this thing doesn't have no volume to it? YouTube don't have volume. Delaware, just call. She won. Florida, Trump won that. We know that. Illinois, she won by a landslide. Indiana, Trump. And big. Kansas, she won. Kentucky, Trump by a landslide. Louisiana, I got a check by Trump. That probably means he's leading. Just cause. She won Massachusetts, man. All them damn white people over there, man. Are you serious? Maryland, Trump. Maine, that's a little small state. Give her that one. We don't care about that. Missouri, she won that one. Mississippi, yeah. Good old boys. Damn, he murked her in North Dakota, man. Nebraska, she won that one. Whoa. Just cool. She won Nebraska big. Nebraska, what? I just said Trump won.
South Carolina, of course.
New York, she won big over there, man. And Trump's from New York. That's why I hate fucking New York, man. Fuck you all, man. That's why I got the hell out of there, man. To hell with New York.
Vermont. Okay, West Virginia, of course. We're going to win Virginia, too. I know that.
Tennessee.
Wyoming.
Cool. New York is one of those states that have a lot of electoral votes. Texas. Cool. Where'd you see that electoral thing at, Benai?
It's in the top right.
Nah, but there's an actual chart. It's on NBC, NBCnews.com. And you go to the it shows right on the top of the website. It shows you the electoral vote.
Because this is
breakdown.
not showing you all the electorals there in these states.
I think this is a popular vote right here.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah. Yeah, the electoral, he's dumping on her on the electoral, man. 154 to 30.
Yeah, but there's a lot more states that they haven't gotten in yet, huh?
Yeah, they're still waiting in for Cali. They're still waiting for New York. They're still waiting for Nevada, New Mexico, Arizona.
California is the big one, huh? California, Texas.
Texas, he won. He got Texas. Like the whole West Coast is still wide open. And a lot of the up north.
She catching up, huh? You say she got 30. I'm looking at she got 215. He got 219.
On NBC.
You must be watching something old, huh?
This one says last.
No, they got her up 225 to 219 on Fox. What are you watching, man?
It's hold on, let me pull up my computer. I'm gonna send a link. I didn't see that.
We had first results from Georgia just 20 minutes after the polls closed. But remember, it took 2 weeks for Georgia to be called in 2020. Georgia's Secretary of State now predicts a very fast election this year. North Carolina, 7:30 polls close. Also a state expected to dump a lot of votes right away. The last vote should be cast in Pennsylvania, barring any changes, at 8 p.m. Most of Michigan, 8 p.m., and then the rest of it, 9 p.m. In Wisconsin, again, 9 p.m., we expect to see results shortly thereafter, although they start counting on Election Day. Arizona, the polls close at 9 p.m., but many of the precincts won't report about 1 hour after close. So we can expect to see first results about 10 p.m. Eastern time. In Nevada, polling places wait to report data until the last person in line has voted. So technically 10 p.m., but we'll see first results probably around 11:40. At least that's what we saw in 2020. Now, as we head into Election Day, the Real Clear Politics average poll has Vice President Kamala Harris.
Yeah, that's it right there.
Yeah, I don't think there's recent though. Oh.
54 to 30.
No, I don't think this is recent, no. It says 2 hours ago.
It just update 160 now.
It says 2 hours ago. It's nationwide right here. This is the popular vote. Trump's in the lead.
Almost 3 million. Almost 4 million.
Republicans, they taking over the House, the Senate. Seems that? Bang! House at the hour, 85. Republicans taking over, boy.
It's always so lopsided. You either have a Democratic House with a Republican president, or a Democratic president with a Republican.
So Cali, they done already done Cali then, because it's highlighted. Trump won that. Get all that right. Difference of 3 million or something.
$3.1.
Governors. Uncool race is 6. A question whether this is live. This joint says 2 hours ago. Maybe that's when it started. Let me refresh, man. I don't know about this. Popular vote. Trump's cleaning up right now, man. $218 needed, 284 uncalled. Romeo, man.
That whole state of California is basically Democratic. So big.
Yo, we cooking over here. We cooking over here.
Yeah, we cooking. Deep fried.
Hey, Trump's ahead by 3 million or something. In the popular vote. No, not just Georgia, the whole popular vote so far. Yeah, he's way ahead on the electoral college. Right now it's 160 to 30.
It's not over in Georgia. It's 117.
What are you watching? What are you watching? Yeah, I didn't think this was updated right here. Which one are you on?
They started in all of them. I'm going back and forth because I want to see, So the reports from
I'm not
I've been
seeing
looking
that,
at
man.
I was looking at the PBD, I was looking at the Fox, CBS, NBC, all of them.
They're saying they're live. A lot of them are not really live, though.
They're not live. I mean, the latest count, it says 113 to 178. That's the latest one.
So she caught up big time then.
Well.
Yeah, but she had 30, y'all. She got a lot of votes.
She got 113 now, but Trump got 178. That's the latest count.
Yeah, she caught up some though, a lot.
Yeah. You know, all these states over here. She won Jersey.
Yeah, fuck that, man. Yeah, I know, man. Fuck them people, man. For real. I'm glad I fucking left New York, man. They're from fucking jackasses over there, man. For real. Connecticut too. All those fucking all them fucking white people done voted for this woman, man.
The thing is,
That's what it is.
I don't see.
I do, I do. I saw him today, man. I saw a lot of white women out on the street today where Kamala Harris stands. It's all because she got a JJ. But it's not gonna fly. It's not gonna fly.
Can't fly, man. Can't.
Yeah, man. I need something that's accurate. None of this stuff is accurate,
Go to you know who does a real good job? The dude PBD. He does a real good job of keeping it accurate, up to date.
Oh, this stuff is not even live, man.
PBD is live.
Yeah, they put live up there so people can watch it, man. But it's not really live.
No, what you watching, huh?
I'm on YouTube right now.
Yeah, but go to which thing? What channel you watching it?
I was watching a lot of different ones here. When you say
try PBD.
Who's that?
PBD podcast.
Oh, man, I need to watch the news, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Because PBD is going to be getting his information from the news, huh?
Okay, so try you could try Fox.
Watch live 2024 election. It's hard to tell who's live here, man.
States,
this guy's live right here.
And it's the Sun Belt. And if Kamala Harris can win the 3 blue wall states, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, she gets 270 electoral votes. She's the president. If Trump can win the Sun Belt states, if he manages to win Georgia, North Carolina, Arizona, and Nevada, he's at 268. So he'd still have to figure out how to pick up one of the blue wall states. And essentially, if Trump could figure out a way to win Pennsylvania, which is neck and neck, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia, you can see Trump gets to exactly 270 electoral votes. So there's a couple ways to pray it out, but you can see those are the states we're watching.
Let's go listen to Josh Stein, who is the newly elected incoming governor in the state of North Carolina, speaking now.
And thank you, North Carolina. Tonight, the people of North
Republicans won
Carolina
North Carolina.
resoundingly embraced a vision that's optimistic, forward-looking, and welcoming.
No. With South Carolina, they won. I don't know what happened with North Carolina yet.
North Carolinian. We chose hope over hate, competence over chaos.
He sounds like a sodomite, so he might be a Democrat.
That's who we are as North
How
Carolinians.
can the people in North Carolina vote for Kamala Harris when they didn't give no aid?
Your next governor.
Yeah, they should be rocking with him.
Thank you. I've got an easy question, and I already know the answer, but I'm going to ask y'all anyway.
Yeah. New York's a
Who
Democratic state.
here, like me, loves
They
North
got the hell out
Carolina?
of there, man. That's where they have them fight gun rules and all that.
North Carolina is home.
She went over there. She
To
went to Connecticut.
remarkable
She
natural
went in.
beauty.
Man, fuck them
Home
people
to
out there,
small
man.
businesses and Fortune 500 companies. Home to some of the finest universities and one of the best
That's
community
crazy,
college systems in the nation. And we are home to the best people. As we celebrate tonight Our hearts are with the folks of Western North Carolina who are still struggling. Hurricane Helene swept in devastation, destruction, and darkness. But the goodness of North
But everything's showing your neighborhood up so far.
Oh yeah, ain't nothing gonna happen. Huh?
195 now. 195
For the electoral.
for the electoral, yeah, and the magic number is 270.
What does she have?
113 still.
Nah, this
113 to 195.
See.
And the number to reach is 270.
Yeah, I need to watch something that has these things.
You see that one right there? It say 225 and 219.
Yeah, that's just them. That's just them estimating. This is
I think a lot of them
not even
people
live.
just-
So if you
That's not
believe,
live.
like I do, that
Yeah.
you're meant to fund the kingdom through business,
That's
more
not live.
specifically, take
What if she
territory.
wins, or what if he
President
wins?
Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump tied 48.5% to 48.5.
So this thing right here is not.
Why you say it's recorded?
Because I could tell, man. That's just them doing estimates. If it's live, you're gonna see the chat room and everything going up. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Well, this is the okay. See, I'm not on YouTube though. I'm not on YouTube.
You told me you was.
No. I went on YouTube, but I went on another thing now. It's called. You know what? I'm gonna text it to you.
Go to CNN.
Ready? I'm gonna text it to you so you can watch it on there.
They disabled some of the chats for the live streams.
Because I'm going back and forth. I was on YouTube with the PVD. I'm checking different ones, but you want something like the actual station itself, right?
Yeah, I'm about to turn my damn TV on, huh?
Yeah. Hold on.
My TV on, up front.
Hold on.
Yeah. It's weird that all of a sudden, man, none of this is on YouTube.
Everything has to be live streamed. Come.
Yeah, I'm going right here on TV. I'll tell you all. Live election coverage. Live now. On now.
All right. I just sent it to you. Check that link right there on your phone. And that's going to give you all the channels live.
No, I'm on my TV now. Alexa, I'm on my TV now.
Well, you said you could put what's on your phone on connected to your TV, right?
Oh yeah, I can. But I got it pulled up on my TV.
Okay. So you
I don't know whether or not showing this live on YouTube up.
No, they not.
I'm not sure, but I see something as far as NBC News. Let me click on it.
But they're not showing the news itself. Like you said, so they do their little breakdown and all that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm on the actual Fox News that's not on YouTube right now. I got one channel watching that, and then I'm just going back and forth. On YouTube too. Yeah, they got some of the breakdowns or whatever. They go a little bit more in depth. Yeah. It looked like the Republicans are gonna win the Senate as well.
Yeah. It was ahead on that.
Yeah. It's like 37 51, something like that. And the House. Republicans are winning the House as well.
Yep. I said the Republicans almost winning everything, huh?
It's time for the soy boys to go, man. Their time is up, man. They had, the Obama era, and then this little 3.5 years. Time to go, man. The time's up, man.
Yeah, it's weird that this is not on YouTube, man. They got that sodomite talking in North Carolina. He's a Democrat. I thought he was. And you could just tell, man, by their spirits.
Who? Oh yeah,
The
he's
governor.
a sodomite.
Yeah, that governor of North Carolina.
He's a sodomite.
Yeah, this has spirits coming across.
See, that senator, they was hyping him up in Texas. He lost. Democrat.
Yeah, Trump won Texas.
Yeah, Trump won Texas. He's always gonna win Texas. Them boys over there, they're not playing around with the shenanigans.
Yeah, fuck New York, man. I'm a Southern dude now, man. I'm not never going back to that place, man. For real, huh? That ain't my block, man.
That's home,
man. I'm a Southern dude. I'm a Georgia boy, man. I'm a Georgia dude.
You gotta teach her how to say hi, dog.
I ain't never seen you with those straw hats, man. I see you with that New York fitted, though. You know what I mean?
They don't rock straw hats out here. Only in the country, man. You got half of New York down here in Georgia.
You saying you're gonna go to the brother the bean to borrow a hat?
Nah. I got the real cowboy joints, man.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I got the leather rawhide joint over here. Matter of fact, I just got me another leather jacket today for my bike. My motorcycle. Yeah, man.
Hey, you see what Israel put out? DSGB.
What is that for, man?
Down South Georgia boy.
Yeah, that's right, boy. That's right, man.
Down south.
That's right. Yeah.
It's gonna.
He said, man, you gotta be crazy. Why would someone vote for them? They block their gun laws. They want to pass rights for these funny people. They push abortion rights.
He up over there though. Trump is up in Georgia.
Georgia's a Republican state.
Yeah, but they turned blue last time.
Nah, they Republican state. I'm here now, man. I was driving down the flat. Listen, I was driving all over the city today with my Trump flag on. You know what I mean? Yeah. I went into a ballot office. I went into two different voter places, man, with with the shirt on that says one for Biden, one for Harris. And the guy said, sir, you can't wear that in here. You can't wear anything political. You got real talk. I'm not making this up. They said, yo, you got to turn your shirt inside out. I said, I'll be leaving. Yeah, real talk. I was down.
I'm trying to tell you what you can wear
with my Trump flag on, man. Now it's in the rules. Obviously, you probably never voted out because you would know that. You can't wear anything political to any kind of voting. You can't wear anything political. So many feet.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't deal with the voting and nothing like that. Never delved into it. You know, but man, so they but you don't. What did you see though? As far as like the flags and the support out in the city over there,
a lot of Edomites would say, "Yeah, fuck it, fucking hey, man, Trump 2024." When he told me, real talk, when he told me at the gas station, yeah,
turn it up.
Yeah.
What they say, my
he
brother
was giving me some dirty looks. If looks could kill.
So the Edomites are rocking with you, but the Eves is...
No, there was a couple of brothers, man. That a brother pulled up by me in his truck, said, "Yeah, man, Trump." Gave me the thumbs up. But mostly the Edomites, they was rocking with me hard body. Yeah, they was blowing the horn and everything, you know what I mean? I got the Trump flag blowing in the wind. Music. Trying to attract attention, yeah. Causing problems,
That's funny. But I mean, you didn't see no Eves that was rocking with Trump? Just the brothers?
Yeah, I didn't see no E's. Like I just went in those places to peek them out. All black people running the voting ballot places. Everyone I went to, mostly Eves too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I went in there to peek it up.
Yeah, that ain't good, man. Cause they
See what Israel say out? Israel said they wilding on 125th and 8th, having a cam rally.
Oh yeah, they already won that state. They don't care about that.
Yeah, man. Listen, any up north states, the only one that Trump won, and that's you're gonna win that every year. Is Maine. They don't.
No, he lost that.
He lost Maine,
He lost Maine.
Trump lost Maine?
Yeah, he lost that.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, he needs to win in the electoral votes is Pennsylvania. That's very important.
Yo, she just got up to I don't know what she won, but she won 4 more, 117.
You see that she has what, 117? I'm watching NBC right now. NBC says she got 63.
Yeah, I don't like how they putting this stuff here saying live, and it's not even live, huh?
What channel are you watching it? Oh, you talking about YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah, nah. Don't even watch it on YouTube. It's just gonna be
It's just recordings, man.
Well, I don't know if it's recordings, but it's breakdown. So there's gonna be gaps within the time, within the time frame. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they doing it on daytime and breaking it down and all that. So by the time they go back and check, it might not be up to date. But I sent you the link. That link gives you access to a whole bunch of all the news channels.
Even this joint's behind. They're still saying 162 to something. You told me it was at 178, right?
195 to 117. That's the latest.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch what you're talking about, for real.
Yeah. Go on the app. Go on the app and then go on Fox News.
This other stuff is outdated, man.
On Fox
go
News.
On the app and then go on Fox News. Did you see that link I sent you?
I just clicked on it right now.
Okay. Now scroll down and then you're gonna see Fox News.
Oh yeah, I see Fox News. Kamala 99, Trump 178. I'm on the TV.
Yeah, this is recorded. Okay, play this. Yeah, I can't play it. I don't think it's playing because I'm on the phone with you.
Okay, I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna get off then.
All right.
Hey,
sorry.
Audience at home, and for our knowledge too, this was Georgia in 2020. Wow, look at this. Okay, again, we've taken a 24-hour period from 4 years ago. Blue is the Democratic vote, obviously red is the Republican vote. And you see all this, at 7 o'clock, boy, it was all over the place, okay? And then in the 8 o'clock hour, Trump easily took a lead there. And then the margins started to close overnight around 3 a.m. The lines moved and they moved and they moved for several days until finally we reached that margin of 12,000 votes separating Biden from Trump in the Peach State. So the difference would be that was the COVID election, and that was a lot of mail-in votes, and that was not the same early vote for Republicans, right? Yeah, I would argue you're right about that in Georgia. I think the important thing to keep in mind is how states report it. Yeah. And Pennsylvania is a really good example here, where you're going to get a heavy blue, some would argue mirage in the beginning, and we'll see whether or not that mirage is real throughout the night, and maybe even into tomorrow.
Bill,
yes.
Broadly speaking, there'll be some exceptions to this. Does it appear to you that
she is underperforming Biden nearly everywhere? It's a great question, Britt. This is just anecdotal. I answer the best way I can. I've been poking around all over this map. I can find some good news for her by a point here, a point there. I can find a lot of good news for him, a point here and a point there. But it seems where the areas where she is gaining the most is where the votes are. And the areas where he's gaining the most is the area that he targeted, and that's the rural area. Whether or not you can extrapolate that over a place like Hall County, 72%, right? Banks County, 89%. Now, problem for him is that that's 94 out of 159. But I could move along the northern border of Georgia. And
Trump won.
It's just, yeah, it's dominating. 81. How does it compare to 80?
It's not over yet, huh?
I'll show you that next here. Just look at that. I mean, that's 86. Now, 2020, in the same counties, I'll go in reverse, all right? 84, still impressive, right? 81. And what is it now?
It's not over until midnight.
So this is Fannin County. There's about 14,000 votes in that county alone. 14,000, okay? Now, if you take that and extrapolate over 159 counties, it can certainly add up. So to answer your question, Britt, 4 years ago, Fannin County was 82, and this year he's at 80.
They're happy about what's happening in Ohio, that they seem to be up by 10 at this point. And historically, Ohio's been in our party sort of a mental issue where we're not winning by 10 in Ohio. We're worried about everything else, and that number looks good.
Qadar, yeah, Trump won, man. It's not over yet, man. It may just drag into tomorrow morning.
I know the results are coming in pretty quick. I guess they got a good system this year.
We're still on track. There's a one pickup for Republicans. They're looking to Ohio and West Virginia. Maybe a couple of other races. Still waiting on Michigan and obviously Pennsylvania about where that goes.
And Montana, which isn't closed yet. Obviously, a very hopeful pickup for Republicans with Tim Sheehy.
Back with the panel, Kaylee. What are you looking at? What do you feel?
So I'm looking at the suburbs, and first I would say the map, and again, it's early, but it seems to be breaking more like 2016 and 2020. But we will see. But when you look at the suburbs, the Kamala Harris team was making much of the fact that early on we saw the suburbs of Indianapolis, Donald Trump underperforming. They point to Fayette County in Georgia. But then we get our Fox News voter analysis, and you see in Pennsylvania that Kamala is not hitting the suburban marks that Joe Biden did. You look at Hillsborough County, Florida. That is Tampa. It's almost urban, if you will. And Hillary won by 7. Biden won by 7. At this hour, you have Donald Trump leading by 3 in Hillsborough County. And let me say this. This is, I think, should be discussed, hasn't been discussed, but it might have bigger implications for the Republican Party moving Florida. And that is the fact that the Republican Party has lost every pro-life ballot initiative post-Dobbs until tonight in Florida, when you see Amendment 4 went down. And the difference was you had a leader, you had a Governor DeSantis, who owned the issue, who talked about the issue, who was out on the airwaves on the issue. And I'm told by some sources familiar with these 10 initiatives happening across the country, they're hopeful in Nebraska. Why? You had Pete Ricketts lean into the issue. So that might be a lesson that's instructive moving forward to the party. You've got to speak on this issue because hiding from it thus far has not worked.
Let's just say this, Trey, that both of these candidates at this hour still have a path to 270. It is wide open. There's a number of different ways to go. Who would you rather be right now?
I'd probably rather be him because she is underperforming where Biden was in states that are very close. I'm also watching the Senate because what does it profit a person to win the presidency if you don't have the Senate to get your cabinet? Nebraska is interesting to me. Who is he going to caucus with if the independent wins? I don't think he will, but who will he caucus with? Because if Donald Trump wins the presidency, you got to get around Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins to get your desired cabinet. And if you're Kamala Harris and you win the presidency, you ain't getting your desired cabinet if you have a Republican Senate.
I'm going to make a prediction. Thought on a little bit of a limb here. I am growing more and more confident as I sit here and listen to everybody, and I am talking to people that know their states as well as anybody. I think the finest numbers, people, finest sources. I don't think it will be very long until you call North Carolina for Donald Trump. I think Georgia will immediately follow thereafter. Then we would be at a point. I also believe Arizona is baked in. Immigration was a big issue out there. That now means that would bring us to a point in this race. If I am right, if I'm wrong, everybody call me out. Hannity was wrong. We'll have T-shirts. I'll sell them on DonaldTrump.com. Okay. But if that's true, that means she would have to sweep the blue wall. Yeah. And based on the information that we have and the early voting success of the Republicans in both Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, I don't think she can do it.
So with that prediction, we're going to take a quick break. The race at 270 continues. We're about to get our first look at the state of play in the battleground state of Nevada. Our special coverage continues after this.
You believe you were sent by God?
Yes.
Repent! Come and be baptized in the River Jordan!
See if I can sync my phone to my computer, man.
Good Ranchers is delivering American-sourced proteins the way it used to be, from farm to family.
Over 30% of the food sold in grocery stores goes to waste, and many of us don't give it a second thought.
Our meat and seafood is individually portioned and vacuum sealed, locking in freshness and flavor.
Allowing you to feed your family with what you need while reducing waste.
Visit GoodRanchers.com and discover American meat delivered.
Starting at 5 a.m., Lawrence, Steve, Ainsley, and Brian bring us all the latest after Election Day on a special Fox and Friends tomorrow.
Hi, Grandma. I played baseball today.
Oh, that's great.
What position did you play?
First base.
That's what my grandpa used to play. When our hearing wouldn't allow us to use a regular phone, it made us feel isolated.
It became difficult to communicate with our friends and family.
Clear captions was an easy solution.
I'm gonna sync this to my phone, man. I got this app on my phone. I'm trying to monitor it there.
It looks like every different newscast got a couple of different votes, like different like. But that 270 to win, it seems like that dude was saying it wrong, because on most of the news channels, it's still saying that Kamala got less than 100 and Trump still got up there from 160. I think he was looking at the House estimate numbers. Because on the House estimate numbers, it says 218 to control. Trump got 165 and Harris got 158. But the 270, Trump got 162 and Harris got around 81. So I think what's his name was looking at those other numbers. Cause I already seen like 3 or 4 different news channels, and it's not saying nothing about from the 270. It shows nothing that Kamala passed 100 on 4 different news channels.
Percentage, and I'm trying to see the percentage that is in right now in Pennsylvania, 32%. Thank you. So we're waiting for a lot more vote to come in Pennsylvania, and what we're hearing is it's not surprising. The order that the vote has been coming in Pennsylvania is not surprising to the red team, at least at this point. There's Wisconsin, 47.9 to 50%, and Wisconsin has 23% of the vote in. Also expected to be a tight race. They have both spent a ton of time there. There's Michigan, which we haven't really talked too much about yet. We're going to look, we'll get Bill to show us on the board what Michigan looks like. 14%, a lot of votes still to come in Michigan. Obviously, this is too close to call, and that is 45 to 42. Let's go to Grady Trimble, who is just outside Detroit, Michigan, and we'll start to get a feel for what's going on in this part of the Blue Wall. Hi, Grady.
Hey, Martha. Yeah, so we're expecting an update from Michigan's top elections official very shortly. But what we know from her updates throughout the day so far is that turnout on Election Day has been very strong here in the Wolverine State. And when combined with early voting, it's quite possible that it sets a new record, the previous record set in the last presidential election in 2020. And like most of the battleground states, this is going to be a story of rural turnout versus urban turnout. But there's an interesting storyline playing out in the Detroit suburbs, particularly in the Dearborn area, in the Arab American community. The Trump campaign has really been targeting that community, trying to get them to either vote for former President Trump, but they don't actually need that. In some cases, we've talked to Arab Americans who are casting their ballots for Green Party candidate Jill Stein, somebody you probably haven't heard mentioned much, but who could be a spoiler candidate. We also know that many Arab Americans are going to sit out this election entirely, which could tip the scales in favor of former President Trump. We're also watching the Senate race here. Mike Rogers, the Republican candidate, spoke to the crowd. He says it's going to be a nail biter and probably a very late night. Brett, Martha, back to you.
Okay, great.
Grady, thank you very much.
There's some Democrats saying North Carolina is on the edge. I don't think they're fully agreeing with Sean, and they still may make T-shirts. But
I'm not only saying North Carolina, I am saying North Carolina and Georgia will go Donald Trump tonight. And I am as confident in that prediction as any I've ever made.
Wow. Okay. Bill Hemmer tracking that. Are we backing that up on the wall?
I tell you what, Sean, if in the end you're right about that here in North Carolina, I showed you this county last hour, right? This is Anson County, up to 47% African American population. Sometimes in these elections where you see an outcome, you're like, that hasn't happened in 100 years. Well, something just happened for the first time since 1876 in North Carolina, and a Republican won this county for the second time since the 1870s. So I just like something to stick in the back of your head and think about, well, that was a data point along the way. You guys mentioned the blue wall. Let's go ahead. We're moving toward the central time zone. We're talking about Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. I can show you a lot of stuff right now, okay? But this is anecdotal stuff. It's just the data points that I'm seeing on the map, okay? When you go to Wisconsin, all right, you have to look at Dane County. It's the University of Wisconsin. In the midterms, they had more than 85% voter turnout in one county, okay? You're going to get a ton of Democratic votes out of here, okay? You're just about halfway into it right now, and you see the margins. But I was poking through this and looking at Milwaukee.
Fernando, what would you watch on that one?
What happened?
I say, what were you watching that on?
I was on the TV, CBS. CBS is showing 81 to 162 for the 270. I got ABC is showing 81 to 162 for that 270 count. NBC,
Extreme.
yeah,
In fact, if you take out the
NBC is 185 to 81.
On Fox,
185.
I got
2012.
117 to 195.
I find, guys, this to be the swingiest state you find out there, all right? Back in 2000, when we're looking at Florida, look what happened in Wisconsin. 4 years later, John Kerry, look what happened. You see Donald Trump in 2016, it's just by a nose he was able to win. And then when it went back to Biden in 2020, again, it was super tight, okay? All those races, 4 out of 6 over the past 20 years have been decided by less than a point. And it might well be the case again tonight in the land of cheeseheads. Let's go ahead and clear this right now, okay?
Bill, can we go to Wisconsin?
Yeah, we sure can.
Because, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. You want to see how this is shaping up? I mentioned Dane a moment ago, and I also mentioned Milwaukee. Sean Duffy, one of our colleagues, former congressman for the state of Wisconsin, when he ran for Congress, all this area here was blue, okay? And when he went to Washington, it all flipped, it all became red, and it stayed that way. It's been a source of political strength and power for Donald Trump, and we'll see whether or not that remains the case right now. All right, so you know, we're just about the 30% mark in Wisconsin, and Kamala Harris has a slight lead there by about 3 points. This is where it ended, as I showed you out there on the map, right? 20,682 raw votes 4 years ago. So if I were to come to 2024, what am I looking at? I'm looking at Dane.
How about Sauk and Kenosha?
Yeah, Sauk is right here. Sauk is pretty interesting here because, you know, you start to see a little more population growth, and Trump has a lead here. And again, this is Kennedy. He popped up in Michigan. He's going to pop up in Wisconsin all night long. Trump has a lead here. Let's just go ahead and see. We got half of the voting here in Wisconsin. This is where it finished. I find that interesting. Mm-hmm. What about Kenosha? Let's find Kenosha down.
So remember, this is the swingiest state. I mean, recall election ago, right? Scott Walker.
I mean, it's extraordinary. Think about it, doubt it. But it's true. Anyway, this is Kenosha, Brett. You asked for it. You got it. You got about half the vote in. Trump's just shy of 58%. Okay. So he's overperforming now in Kenosha as well. I can keep going if you want. So call it out, guys, if you like.
Milwaukee County?
Sorry?
Milwaukee, is that what it's called? Just north of?
Yeah. So the WOW counties here, they have been solid Republican forever, you know, but not during the Trump years. They got softer and softer, and they are. Wasaki here, just west of Milwaukee, is one of them. I'm sorry, Waukesha, excuse me. And then you get into Washington, and then you get into over in the lake is Ozaki here. So let's see what we're doing right now. Trump at 53.5. All right, comparison point 2020. Okay, so a little bit under right now in that suburban county north of Milwaukee. Let's pop on over here to Washington and see what we're doing. 70% is an impressive percentage, all right? And 4 years ago, what did he do? So a little bit better right there in Washington County. Then we'll move over here. This is the most populated of the three, Waukesha, just west of Milwaukee, just shy of 60% raw votes, shy of 40,000 from 4 years ago. Okay, all right, so he ended up with 55,000 net. So he either has some space to make up or he's not going to get to the number from 4 years ago. So that's something to watch. The WOW counties there in Milwaukee. My favorite county in all of Wisconsin, maybe my favorite county in the entire map this year, right here. You know what this is, Brett and Martha?
Door County.
It's Door County, okay? And why do we talk about Door County? First of all, you don't want to be there in the winter, okay? Because it's cold and it's frozen. But in the summertime, it's got to be beautiful. Half the vote in. Trump has an edge here. 4 years ago, you see what happened here. Biden won it, all right? Go back to 2024. Let's go statewide. Watch all the map go into play here, okay? This is a flipper county in Wisconsin, all right? The shade of blue is just very slight, okay? So it shows you how close it was.
It's hard to find something that's really live, man. It's crazy. They putting up
Yeah.
anything to try and get you to watch it. Oh, you find out they're not even live.
Yeah, I feel like every source is just getting different information.
Yeah, man. They got all kind of skepticism going on here. They put live on it, and they're not even live. Most of them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They're on the background trying to find what's going on. Man. I guess the only way to watch it live if you got, the cable, and they're live. If they're doing it that way live.
Yeah, the voting booths um, for California should be ending sometime soon.
They close over here at 7 p.m. Huh?
So I'm saying I
Georgia.
think uh, California time 7 p.m. is about the next 5 minutes.
Hmm. Who's winning over there?
In Texas,
No, in California.
but
We just talking about California.
I haven't seen anything showing California yet. But yeah, that's what I would assume. Like most of it's gonna end whenever California starts their 7 p.m. time.
It's really hard to find something that's accurate. Huh?
I seen somebody made a post that said, "Well, of course Kamala's winning at 11 a.m. All of the Trump voters haven't got out of work yet." It was pretty funny. There's a video of some truck driving. There's a video of some truck inside of the post. Yeah, I only see think Trump winning so much is a good sign, I guess, for America because all of the propaganda against him, all of the propaganda for Kamala, so much stuff has been going on that if Trump wins, I think that would be a good thing. Um, I feel like he'll help with the wars that they got going on overseas as well. I wonder what Trump will do about all that.
Harris jumped out to a very big and early lead. That has dwindled to what we are seeing right now. And this is why there's so much focus tonight on the count, when it will be done. Governor Josh Shapiro telling me 2 days ago, coming on again, saying, we aim first to be accurate. That is the most important. But everybody knows here that there is this dissonance at play. They've got to be fast and accurate. In 2020, it took them 5 days to tabulate the entire vote. They now hope to do it in a much shorter amount of time. All the counties here have committed to not stopping the count until they are fully done. Every vote is tabulated. Kira. Our Matt Gutman, historic Philadelphia. Thanks, Matt. I'm Kira Phillips. Glad you're with us tonight. I hope you'll stay with ABC News. Our team is bringing you election results all throughout the night, led by David Beer. Don't go far. Our race for the White House.
They're basically saying Trump has to win Pennsylvania. They're saying the numbers don't work out for the electoral unless he wins that. She has to win it also. She was ahead on it, 50 to 49.1%.
And what is the electoral votes?
The Electoral College. It's like pretty much the wealthy people, man.
Mm.
I mean, it's not the popular vote, not the regular people, in other words. Something called the Electoral College. Google the Electoral College. I went over that like maybe 2 months ago.
Huh.
Can't find anything that's live, man. It's crazy.
Wherever news breaks, ABC News Live will take you there.
10 p.m. in the east, 7 p.m. in the west. Polls are now closed in 44 states, including the swing state of Nevada, with its 6 electoral votes. As those numbers start coming in, we'll go right back.
The polls are closed in 44 states.
All 7 battleground states are now closed, and ABC News can take a look at the numbers coming in.
Trump won Georgia.
Georgia, 79% of the vote is in. They said they would have the vote in tonight. Kamala Harris behind Donald Trump in that state.
Oh, it's not finished yet. The polls are closed, but only the votes are not in. Trump's ahead. Trump's ahead in North Carolina. It's not ended yet, though.
66% of the vote in. We'll dive into where that vote remains. Pennsylvania at this hour.
Pennsylvania, she's up 50 to 49.1%.
19 electoral votes. Very difficult to win the White House without the state of Pennsylvania.
You almost need Pennsylvania to win the White House because it has 19 electoral votes. She's winning Michigan. They got 15 electoral votes.
Wisconsin, we were looking at a moment ago. Wisconsin, the numbers started to come in tonight. Very close race there, about a point between them. And as I mentioned, 4 out of the last 6 presidential elections decided in that state by less than a point. Arizona tonight, another key battleground state. The number's not in yet, though. The polls have closed. 11 electoral votes on the line there. We do have states. ABC News is ready to project at this hour. Let's take a look. Utah tonight, 6 electoral.
Trump needs to win Pennsylvania, man.
Montana, the 4 electoral votes going to Trump there. We're going to watch that Senate race very closely. The Democrat John Tester trying to hold on to the state Trump has now won repeatedly. Colorado, Kamala Harris wins the state of Colorado. 9 electoral votes goes to the vice president. So take a look at the map. The road to 270. Kamala Harris winning 7 states and Washington, D.C. Donald Trump winning 17 states, 172 electoral votes there for him, up to 91 for Kamala Harris at this hour. Our coverage of the 2024 presidential election continues right now. This is an ABC News special.
Trump wins Pennsylvania, North Carolina. It's a wrap. And Georgia. Those battleground states, man. They make this shit like a sports game, huh?
They give out stickers and everything.
Probably got tickets at them bookies.
The Harris campaign has really doggedly pursued the Latino vote. We've seen that really ratchet up, in particular in recent weeks. Donald Trump equally. He was in Pennsylvania recently, just last week, and he said, "I love the Latinos." He was in New Mexico a few days ago. He said, "I love the Hispanics," and it really appears that there is some appeal there for the Latino voters when it comes to Donald Trump. If you look at the race in Nevada in particular, the Latino vote making up 17% of the electorate there. Here we go, 48% going for Kamala Harris. They're in Nevada, 46% for Donald Trump. But Donald Trump is actually doing 4 points better. Actually, I'm sorry, that's in Arizona. Harris is doing 4 points worse than Biden in Arizona, and Trump doing 4 points better than he did in 2020. If we want to look at that board there in Arizona, Kamala Harris getting 55% of the Latino vote. They make up more than 0.25% of the population in Arizona. Donald Trump getting 41%. But in both cases, he's doing much better. Trump 11 points better than he did in 2020 in Nevada, and again, 4 points better than he did in Arizona in 2020.
And this is exactly what the Trump campaign wanted to do.
Okay, I see it now. The Electoral College is pretty much the people who represent the states.
And what did you hear?
Yep.
Well, I think what I heard was surprising in some ways.
And depending on however much people is inside of the
absolutely not. not. I mean, that's not the impression you got on the ground. You
Eight
had unions out
determines
there
how much electoral
canvassing for Kamala Harris,
college or
but it
electoral
all came
voters are
back to
inside
the
each
voters I
state.
spoke to the economy. And even those Democrats who were out canvassing for Kamala Harris knew that was an issue. Like, how do you explain to people the economy that people trust Donald Trump more on that? And they said, well, we tell them it just takes time. So that message was not really resonating. Nevada has the highest unemployment rate of any state in the country. They were devastated after COVID. And that is the issue. You know, you can talk about exaggeration. You can talk about them calling Puerto Rican garbage. You can talk about all those things, but it came back to the economy. They can hear lies, they can hear mistruths, they can hear exaggerations, but their truth is their grocery bills, their gas bills, and that's what it came back to on many, many people I interviewed.
And the high cost of housing.
Exactly. Very, very high cost of rent. And immigration. And you could talk to Latino voters. There was one man who said, I don't care about any of that other stuff. Donald Trump is going to be best for the border. This is a man who came into the country 50 years ago illegally. He is now a citizen. He doesn't want any more migrants, and that's why he's voted for them.
Yeah, really interesting. And part of what Lindsay was showing us, I mean, she still is leading among Latino voters, but not by the margin that President Biden did 4 years ago. And that's going to be very concerning for the Democrats and the Harris campaign there.
Yeah, look, I would just remind over and over again that they had said from the very beginning, and they're saying again tonight, their most straightforward path is through those blue wall states. And when you look at what we're seeing coming in, that certainly seems to still be the case, and I suspect is still their hope. You know, the Harris campaign is well aware of all of those issues, especially in Nevada. It's why she, unveiled her housing plan in that state. She knew that she had to hammer home the issue of the economy and make clear that that was going to be her top priority, that lowering the cost of groceries was going to be the very first thing, her very first priority when she gets into office. She always said she would pass, if elected, this big economic package of bills to do just that. The question is whether that message got across and was enough.
Rick Klein, what's the blue wall looking like at this point? Yeah, we've seen some numbers come in that shifted the lead again numerically because it just has to do with the pace of vote. But right now, Donald Trump with a 33,000 vote edge. We've got a lot of rural votes. This is Pennsylvania. This is Pennsylvania, yes. You asked earlier about Wilkes-Barre, Luzerne County. That has flipped red, at least as of now, 57% of the vote in. Donald Trump racking up some numbers there in an area where Democrats had some hopes to build things up. You can also see what's starting to happen in the western part of the state. We've got some significant numbers north of Pittsburgh and Butler County. This is a place where Donald Trump is coming close to his benchmark number. Really, this is a function of a lot of vote coming in the redder parts of the state. We still
votes are still coming in.
He can win the rest of this East Coast, Virginia, PA.
It doesn't matter. He still has to win the electoral vote. The popular vote, the electoral vote is very important, and that's going to be the deciding factor, especially the state of Pennsylvania, because you got 19 electorals in that state.
19 in PA.
The popular vote is not going to decide who gets in office.
Georgia got 16. North Carolina 16.
California has a lot. California has the most.
Yeah, got 54.
California.
Democratic.
And what's the number of electorate for Trump thus far that you've seen? I'm seeing
it's hard to tell because all the votes are not in a particular state. A lot of the numbers that you guys were seeing, he was just ahead at that time. But the polls, even though the polls closed, they hadn't counted all of the votes yet. So they're still counting the votes.
Yeah, I see Kamala just got 10 on the thing I'm watching. It just bumped her to 109 from 99. She just won Colorado on the electorals. So we had that seen
76% of the votes in. Trump's ahead right now in Pennsylvania. But the electoral here is that, nope, Trump just went up a little bit now in Pennsylvania.
So do
47% of the votes.
so do they have to hit 270 or?
Yeah, they got to. That's a deciding factor.
Mm.
That's a deciding factor. Yeah. Yep.
Man, that dude Bernie Sanders still running. Bernie Sanders, man, that dude's
Yeah, I
old.
saw him up there. Yeah. He won too.
And clearly in Georgia, what's happened is that Democrats are not overperforming in DeKalb and Cobb and Fulton. You have to overperform because Donald Trump is doing 4 points better in some of the rural areas. So again, Democratic cities tend to come in late. I'm seeing that pattern once again. I have, good information that Philadelphia is going to come in much stronger than in 2020. And by the way, in some of these areas, you can compare apples to apples, but Kamala Harris has had to build a different coalition. So I'm also looking in some of these suburbs.
You guys watch it, right? I mean, how many rallies did Trump have there? How many times did Kamala Harris go to the west side of Pennsylvania? This is a place I want to check out. I haven't done it yet. Let's find out together. This is Butler County. All right, where were you on July 13th? Here we go. You got 94% coming in, just shy of 66%. So how did Trump do in a rural county like Butler 4 years ago, before the assassination attempt, right, this past year? It was almost around the same number, okay, up 36,000 to finish it 4 years ago. Right now he's up 34,000.
Well, I just think it's interesting to look at these states that we kind of have looked past in our analysis. We're always focused on the blue wall states, obviously so important, but signs that Trump might maybe outperforming in ways that we hadn't expected, bubbling up in places like New Mexico, where it's only 23% of the vote in, mind you, tons of votes outstanding, but he looks like he's outperforming there. He's up now 6 points with that small turnout. Again, the New York Times gives him a 79% chance of winning this election at this point, with leaning North Carolina, leaning Republican in Georgia. If those trends continue, it's all those 3 states where it's neck and neck. Right now, it's neck and neck in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. So I hope they can model themselves in the future on what Florida has done so brilliantly with Ron DeSantis. 96% of the vote in, and it's handled beautifully with absentee, mail-in vote. I mean, they just seem to do it in Florida. Why can't we do it in these other states? Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, most of us grew up with, you voted in the morning, your parents voted, and then you went out and got the answer that night. We went from 96 million voters when Fox News started to 160 probably million tonight, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Absolutely. So what is how much has voting changed, I guess, is what I'm getting at here, Sean, because we have this enormous early vote.
It's so interesting you ask that question, because everything's kind of flipped. Republicans went in today with a lead that had never happened before, and it put the Democrats in a position mathematically where they have to accomplish something they never accomplished before, and that is to get same-day voters at numbers that they've never gotten before. And this is where we now find it. If I am correct in my belief, and my sources are right, and North Carolina, I'm almost 100% certain will be Donald Trump's. And Georgia, I believe, Harold and I have gone back and forth on this, will go to Donald Trump. Now, Arizona has been trending very strong towards Donald Trump. I don't know how long it'll take them to count the votes out there. That is frustrating to Laura's point. I think to that point, Maricopa said, because the length of the ballot, they were going to take there were 2 pages of Florida, and they called it within an hour and a half. Not within even an hour. I'm just saying what I said. So, if we want to play out a few scenarios, if that turns out to be right, or Harold's going to wear Sean Hannity's wrong t-shirt, if I'm right, in North Carolina and Georgia go to Donald Trump, and I am confident based on the information, Dave McCormick Fox numbers guy just wrote me David Corbett running for Senate in Pennsylvania. Against Bob Casey.
I'm saying the electoral votes is like 117 to 205 right now. If that's accurate.
Five more, come.
Wisconsin, you have a similar situation. A 40% difference, a 40% shortfall. So I'm looking at the big board and I'm watching the hammer, and they needed numbers in Milwaukee that every source I know in Wisconsin is telling me they did not get today. And we're now in a situation where for Kamala Harris to have any opportunity to win, she's going to have to sweep that blue wall, those blue wall states. I don't see it. Do you see it? I don't see it either. And if you look at Philadelphia, for instance, everybody was bragging this morning about how well turnout was in Philly. But if you look at Philly, South Philly is Italian. That's Pat's Geno's. They love Trump down there. Big Eagles territory, big Flyers. And then you go to the Northeast, it's Irish Catholic. Maybe Sean Hannity knows a few people up there. So they came out big for Donald Trump, and that might have been an explanation for those numbers to pop. But if you look at Pennsylvania broadly, they banked so much of the early vote, which they'd never done before. They don't think Kamala has enough right now in Philly and Pittsburgh to just overcome Trump's red county substantively. Let me just put the caveat in there. Britt, we sat on an election desk in 2016, and there was a betting odds that you were quoting that had Hillary Clinton winning 90% chance that she was going to win. And then it started going down, and we started doing the what-if scenario, and our pathway started to narrow. It is flipped. So Sean's point that the early vote gave Republicans an early boost, and the question is what the day of vote's going to show. Is her path narrowing as we get more? Well, it's not that she started out with a narrower path. You know, we could figure out more ways that Trump could win. She had a narrower path.
It's crazy, yeah.
It started at 58%. It's climbed all through the evening to 69.
I think you should have a green eye shot.
Yeah, it should be it. Anyway, and there are other models are now predicting them well.
Stock market futures are also heading higher as well.
I do think, just to go back to this Milwaukee point that we were talking about during the break, I mean, they are running 30,000 absentee votes in Milwaukee tonight because they couldn't. There was a problem with the processing. 31,000 absentee ballots after the election observer brought to the officials' attention that doors covering on and off switches on the devices, I guess, some of them weren't tallying and they were worried about it. So just for integrity purposes, they're rerunning all those ballots. So we might not hear the full and final counting from Milwaukee until tomorrow.
AP vote terrorist has Trump winning 23% of black men.
That's staggering.
Trump's winning 23% of black men.
And that has to be a defeat for the mainstream media, who's just destroyed Donald Trump as a racist for all these years. And if you double your support with black people, and then you go up double digits with your support with Hispanics at the same time, and then run up the numbers with Jewish Americans here in the Northeast, that's a complete rejection of everything that they've been telling us about Donald Trump, and would explain why he's very competitive in the popular
And
vote.
the news cycle for how long went on and on about the Seltzer poll in Iowa. Trump, it looks like he's going to win Iowa by 8 to 10 percentage points. Well, Seltzer. I don't remember what that was called, but it was like he was going to lose Iowa. I mean, it made no sense.
Let's go back to Pennsylvania really quick. I know you're in Wisconsin, but can we just go to Pennsylvania?
I sure can.
And this is
I want to come back to this. It's a fascinating story. It's happening in Wisconsin. Okay, so go ahead, Brett, with your question in Pennsylvania.
Lackawanna County. This is
Lackawanna County. You got it. Let me come back to current day. Right, it's 2024, isn't it, guys?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I do believe. Okay, so I'm kidding. So this is Lackawanna. This is Scranton. Okay, so she's got an edge. Go ahead. She's got an edge of 51%.
The 2020 vote for that.
Okay, I'm going to do something here, and you're going to see a slide come out. All right, so you guys got to remember these numbers. All right, versus 2020. Here is Biden's number. So she's about You do the math. 2.5 points below what Biden did, but she's winning the county too, and that's Scranton. Can I just show you guys something that I think we need to pay attention to? This is Wisconsin. All right, so you got your Fox Insights going here, okay? We talked about Dane, we talked about Milwaukee. What about Green Bay? That's Brown County, all right? Right now, with 46% of the vote reporting, in Brown County, which is Green Bay, Trump's up 3.6 points at this time in the night, okay? Take this off. We'll move to Outagamie, all right? He's up 1.8 points higher than he was 4 years ago. Take that off. This is Winnebago, right? Trump is up 1.3 points at this point in the vote, higher than he was 4 years ago. And, you know, when you're analyzing the state going into this election, those are three of the counties you're looking at where he's trying to like drive the numbers up, and he's able to do that. And so this is where we sit, you know, 0.5 point. And not for nothing, guys, but sorry, come on back here. Not for nothing. But Robert Kennedy has racked up 8,000 votes in Wisconsin. And 2020 in Wisconsin, we'll get it here. Yeah, I got you. 20,682. Maybe it matters, guys, or maybe it doesn't, but it's just something to point out right now. When we come back, I'll take you to Michigan. Some things happening there as well. Fascinating, too. Back on over there.
That's something to keep an eye on.
The 31,000 votes you talked about, Laura, you think they're going to count in the morning, and that's in Milwaukee, right? Which
they're reprocessing them. They've begun to reprocess them, but there's no indication as to when that's going to finish.
Because they had problems with the machine.
There was a problem with this on-off switching device on the machine or something. It's hard to understand what it actually is.
Can I ask you a question? You just gave me the latest numbers. I've been looking at the betting odd numbers that Brett was talking about. They have moved massively
90%
now to Donald Trump. New York Times has it massively to Donald 71%. Trump. To a point that Jesse... Yeah, the needle. Right.
Yeah.
So we're really sitting here, and I think we got to take pause. There is a very strong possibility he will be elected the 47th president of the United States if these numbers, if these predictions end up being true. I don't want to get over our skis. We want to be careful. We want to be prudent. We're all looking at our sources. I'm listening very closely to everything Harold has to say and what he's offering. But if that is true, after all that they have thrown at this man, after all that they have done to this man, and with all the media that wouldn't even vet her and her radical positions, the only person in the media that challenged her in any reasonably tough way is sitting right here at this table, and that was you, Brett. And to think she never had to answer why she doesn't think we should say radical Islamic terrorism, why she wasn't asked about supporting a bail fund, 574 riots.
What channel is that?
Or co-sponsoring the Green New Deal, or saying no private health insurance, Medicare for all, or sex change operations for it. What will this say, Brett, about legacy media in America? It's dead.
Well, it's the decline of its influence has been evident for years. This is proof of it. In some respects, I think that the behavior of the legacy media backfired.
What channel is that you listen to?
Because it was so over the top. Same with the prosecutions. The same thing happened.
You think it all contributed to?
Oh, I do.
Yeah, I agree with you.
What do you got, Bill?
Got something?
I just punched it up through Iowa. You know, everybody was talking about the poll, right? The more register, you know, I mean, the shit, right?
A poll that will not be named.
Yes. That's correct. Until we get a little of the back sheet, right? 40%, you got a 7-point lead to Trump. Okay, so I don't know what they were seeing in the poll. I mean, they were obviously seeing something out there in Iowa, but this is Trump pulling away.
Let me as you bounce around.
Yeah, all good. This is Ohio, guys. Okay, 8 points in 2016, 8 points in 2020. 80% of the estimated vote is in. He's up more than 12 points in the Buckeye State.
Dana, even if we're not there yet. We're not calling these states. We're going to wait and see how this raw vote total goes. But you'd rather be him. The path is getting clearer for him right now. To Sean's point, even that he's here at this moment, from January 7th, 2021 until now, is probably the biggest political phoenix from the ashes that we have ever seen in the history of politics.
In the days after January 6th, I remember sitting, I think, with you, Brett, and I said, this guy, Trump, he's radioactive. Republicans have turned against him. They want rid of him. They want him. He's an obstacle. He's a problem. And I thought, no, I didn't think a political comeback by him was possible.
I would say,
And yet here we are. He's the toughest son of a gun I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Ever. With all he's had thrown at him, I mean, I'd be in an insane asylum.
See, I think there's an interesting rhetorical trick you can always play with these things. When Sean says, think of all the things that they have done to him, and in spite of that, he puts together this probably the most racially diverse political coalition we've seen in generations. But you could also say it is because of what they did to him. And it turned that around. It's not just in spite of it. Like, yes, he's a tough guy. He's
That's a great point.
energetic, but it could be because of
Overdone.
Well, and also,
Overkill.
I think we shouldn't underestimate the importance of policy in all of this.
Absolutely.
The Trump agenda in 2019 delivered some of the most stunning economic gains to blue-collar workers, the people that we came from, that we had seen in 25 years, or maybe even longer. So from the border to the economy to foreign policy and peace, that resonated with young people, with men, with this new demographic coalition. And I think it's not just the greatest political comeback of all time. If these trends continue, a big if, but if, it will be the greatest comeback, I believe, in history, because this man was counted out and called every name in the book. They want to put him in jail tonight. If they could, they would put him in jail.
And I hate to get ahead of ourselves, but if he does win and the numbers hold up and the popular vote is what it is, he would have a mandate. He would have a diverse winning coalition that he would then be able to govern with.
The House, he got both the House and the Senate.
He would probably have the Senate. Maybe he doesn't have the House, but that mandate would have to be respected. So it would be up to Democrats and the media to determine how's their posture going to be towards a seemingly very popular president who's had the greatest upset victory, followed by the most controversial election, followed by the greatest comeback victory we've ever seen.
So, we shall see.
Yeah, so I'm going to say, we may have this conversation several hours from now.
But listen, the primes. I call you the primes now.
Oh,
7, 8, and 9.
What am I?
Exactly. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
you guys. Great coverage.
Have fun. Fantastic to have us together. Thank you so much, guys.
That was good. It was great. The vote count is underway. More results coming in. We're tracking it all as Fox News Democracy 24 marches on.
Election Night on Fox News Channel is brought to you by Simply Safe Home Security. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Can you believe this, man?
Everyone's getting that new Simply Safe outdoor monitoring. Now they can help prevent crime before it even happens.
How do we compete with AI-powered outdoor cameras that alert live agents of an intruder?
Stop. This is Simply Safe. Police are on the way.
Whoa, I didn't even see those guys.
So what about us now?
Luckily, I'm pretty adorable. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
This is our legacy. I won't let anyone take it.
The epic return of Yellowstone.
I can see it now. I know what to do.
There is no morality. This is war.
We fight here, or we die here.
Well, this is going to be fun. It's been pretty fun so far.
Yellowstone. Watch on Paramount Network this week.
The votes are in. The next president of the United States is
Lord, we trust in you. We give to you everything. Our leaders, our president, our country. We give it all to you.
Jesus, we trust in you. Amen.
I got this $1,000 camera for only $41 on DealDash.
DealDash.com. Online auctions since 2009. This PlayStation 5 sold for only 50 cents. This iPad Pro sold for less than $34. And this Nintendo Switch sold for less than $20.
I got this KitchenAid stand mixer for only $56.
One more saying about Texas, man. South Carolina, man. What's going on in South Carolina, Bernard? How's South Carolina gonna do it? And these guys still went to sleep, man. You serious, man? Fernando, you still there? Everybody done built out.
Fernando, not even on here.
Man, you can't catch nothing that's really live, man. Other than this, the thing I'm watching, man.
Yeah, I ain't never seen that before.
Me either. It's crazy, man. Like Troy, I'm seeing Harris at 91, Trump's at 201.
You bite yourself?
He icing her right now, man. She's at 91, he's at 201. It's who's gonna get Pennsylvania, man.
Even they don't have confirmation that the vice president is going to come here tonight. We don't have any program.
Trump's at the convention center. All red, boy.
Johnson Tutu's color inside Trump headquarters there, Palm Beach Convention Center. John, thank you. Let's go right over to Eva Pilgrim. She's at the Kamala Harris headquarters, Howard University in Washington. Eva,
Man, they're making this like a sports game or something, man.
That's facts.
I get an update, Mike, on what is going on with these machines. Has the voting stopped as they try to troubleshoot on this equipment, and what does it all mean?
Well, the county hasn't stopped. What they did is they put out an all call for city employees. So they've got firefighters, they got healthcare workers, IT workers here trying to move this count along. They have to verify all of the metadata, if you will, on the top of the ballots before they can run them through these machines again. Now, here's the problem. We zoom in over my shoulder. I want to show you how these voting tabulators are working, or how the machines themselves ran into a problem. If you look at the back of that machine, there's a red sticker on the back of that machine. That effectively acts as the seal to prove that it hasn't been broken. But there's also a locking mechanism on the back of those machines. Now, those machines operated until the afternoon, and no one noticed that the stickers were in place, but the locking mechanisms hadn't been engaged. A Republican observer noticed that, raised the red flag, brought it with the city officials. The city officials say they believe that the integrity of the vote was never compromised, but out of an abundance of caution, some 31,000 ballots had to go back to the starting point, start all over again. We've got 107,000 ballots out here. The last report, some 43,000 ballots had been through the process. We expected to get some final numbers from the city of Milwaukee around 1 or 2 a.m. The city can't speculate when we'll get the final numbers now. We just know that it's going to be later. The city is trying to pass this off as an abundance of caution, but you've had some Republican leaders out here, like Senator Ron Johnson, who said that this is simply unacceptable. They had a long time to preserve the integrity integrity of this, to make sure that these machines were locked, a simple step in the process. They're not happy with it. We heard from the RNC chairs, Laura Trump, Michael Watley, saying this is an unacceptable example of incompetence. So they're trying to get this thing done. They're hoping this doesn't really stretch into tomorrow, but they are anticipating that the vote will now continue into the early mornings, the early hours
Playing
of
games
Wednesday.
again.
Guys, back to you.
Just to be clear, Mike, they're saying that they're going to keep counting. Like Pennsylvania has said, they're going to keep going. They're not going to stop and go home and take a break. And
correct. They intend to keep counting, and you've got 107,000 ballots here, and 31,000 of those are the ones that have to go back through the process. So it's delaying the process. It's not tanking the process. And the city officials, again, want to insist that the integrity of the process was not compromised. They just want to be extra cautious.
okay, Mike Tobin in Milwaukee. Mike, thanks.
So let's bring our panel back in, and we have some new people joining us at this hour. We're Britt Hume, Dana Perino, and Harold Ford Jr. are all still here. Kellyanne Conway has come back to join us, and Mark Penn and Charlie Hurt. Welcome to Mark and Charlie. Great to have you guys here. Mark, let me start with you. What's your read on this evening? And we're looking at North Carolina and Georgia and Virginia very closely right now.
Well, my read is that this is a real tug-of-war election. And all we're saying right now is the Trump forces seem to be pulling that rope just a little bit more. What you see is that he's doing a little bit better with minority voters. The suburban wave for Harris did not materialize, and Trump is doing very well in the rural areas. So there's just infinitesimal change. Whoever wins, we're going to have a very divided country. The polls were right. We will be divided between the elites and the working class and what they think the direction of America is. But right now in that tug of war, Trump's forces seem to be pulling a little stronger.
And the elites appear to be on, at least the way it's shaping up tonight, on the blue side, and the working class is on the red side. This is not, this is a development that has happened in the Trump years.
I asked you 3 nights. Who do you want to be?
Theatrical.
Right now at 10:36 p.m. Who do you want to be?
Right now, I want to be Donald Trump because these votes are coming in. You take a look at Philadelphia. Philadelphia, he had 12%. Then he had 18%, the same as he had last time. Now he's got 21%. He's got 3 points better than he had last time. That's what he needs to pull Pennsylvania.
Mark, she still has a path, but it relies entirely at this stage, I think, on winning the 3 big blue wall states. What do you think her chances are?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think her chances are diminishing the more this vote is coming in. There's no question that I think this race now is going to be down to those 3 blue wall states. I think he's got, let's call it a 55% chance of winning 1 or more of those states. We've got more information, I think, on Pennsylvania than the others. I think that is, I think, pulling more in his direction the more these votes are being counted.
I just have one more question for you in this round, Mark, and then we'll get to more, I'm sure. You early on questioned the strategy that had led to inflation in the Biden administration. You thought they should have addressed it much sooner. You also questioned whether or not he should be the candidate and whether or not
there's no way he can lose if he's doing better in every area.
What do you think tonight about those issues?
Look, I think Harris will have run a very credible race. She is getting the Democratic constituency probably doing better than Biden would have done because Biden was really collapsing. She is getting the Democratic constituency. This is awfully close no matter who wins. Whoever is president is going to have to address all of America. But I think
go back to his old college days after this one.
An excellent race, but it may just fall.
Because we're comparing Biden to 2020
Thrown up at the
numbers
beginning
when
of
he
formation.
won, but the numbers where he was when she took over were not those numbers.
Disaster.
Yeah.
We have a call to make. The Fox News decision desk can now project that former President Trump will win the state of Iowa. Trump is performing well in rural areas, which helped deliver victories to former President Trump in 2016 and 2020. This obviously comes in the wake of a lot of focus on a poll that shall not be named.
No, let's do it.
Oh, name it? The Des Moines Register poll. I think we've talked about it 7 times tonight.
Trump slowly pulling away, man.
Anyway, it got a lot of attention. It was a attention-getting poll, and it was being forecast to be what the Midwest may look like
maybe because of a gender gap or whatever she was seeing in her poll and Seltzer, we are now calling Iowa for the former president.
Yeah, I mean, it was, described as a bit of a jolt when it came across. I think all of us, when we saw that, Ann Seltzer, because the reason is she has an excellent reputation. She's called a lot of things well. In fact, she called the Trump lead in 2016 in her polling, and everyone thought she was crazy. She had him like +6 or something like that.
Well, she also had him winning the caucus, and Ted Cruz beat him.
Yeah, so she has a good reputation, but this one appears to be a blip on her screen because clearly Iowa is in the Trump column tonight.
Harold, thoughts about what's developing?
So you think about what everyone is saying. This blue wall, there are 44 electoral votes there in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. If she loses Virginia, Nevada is 6. That gives her 50. If she wins Virginia, that gives her 57. She has a very narrow path, as Mark is saying. I think as you look back, and this is a big if here, we talked about it, I think in the last segment, we talked a little bit about the policy here, Laura did. And if she looks back, I think 3 things, and you said one of them, Kellyanne, should you have chosen Shapiro? If where we're going is where we look like we're going to go. Should you have countered on the transgender issue more quickly and more effectively? And then the border and the economy. Should she distance herself from Biden? Now, look, we're still a little early in the evening. I agree with Mark. It's still a little pull one way. But if you're sitting there tonight, you want to be on that campaign tonight. If you want to win the campaign, so she's got to run the tables here over the next hour or two, over the next day or so, if we're hearing correctly about Wisconsin. But it does not look as promising as it did a few hours ago.
Let's head back to Bill real quick. Bill, can we dip into Virginia, the Commonwealth?
Yeah. Say it again, Brett. Sorry about that.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Go ahead. Do what you're going to do. We'll get to Virginia.
Okay, gotcha.
So the later it gets, the more Trump is pulling away.
Here, okay, this is Georgia. Too soon to call. You ask yourself, why can't you call it? There's still some vote out there. And the question is, where is the vote and what's going to come in? Trump's up 3.2 points statewide. So you come in here to the greater Atlanta area, and this is Fulton. Our Fox insights tell us, okay, this is different. It's just changed from a moment ago, all right? At this point in the night, with 82% of the vote reporting, in Fulton County, the largest of 159, Trump's up 0.6 points from where he was 4 years ago. All right, I'll clear that. Let's come back out statewide. This is Cobb County. We talked about that earlier. Okay, at this point in the night, our Fox insights tell us that Harris is at 1.3 points better than where Biden was at this point from 4 years ago. We'll clear that. We'll also go to Douglas 2 here, okay? At this point, this is all greater Atlanta, a lot of population throughout the area. At this point, 90% reporting here in Douglas County, Harris is doing 2.9 points better than what Biden did 4 years ago. So there's still a vote out there, too. And I mentioned Chatham County about 2 hours ago. That's Savannah. They counted slow 4 years ago. They're counting slow yet again. But you get a lot of Democratic votes out of Chatham down here on the Atlantic coast. A lot of folks live there, too, 5 out of 159. So we'll see how that shakes out. Okay, let's run up the coast here and let you know what we're seeing here in North Carolina. Then I'll hit Virginia, then I'll hit Pennsylvania, all right? Trump up 2.5 in North Carolina. Why can't we call it? I was looking at Mecklenburg County with Charlotte. Okay, so they've had a lot of votes come in since the last time I checked. There's a lot of outstanding votes. You have to ask yourself, where are the votes, right? If they're in the most populated places, you can't make a call. But now you're getting a lot more from Charlotte. This is Wake County, Raleigh. It's number 1. Still about 20% of the vote out there, okay? Comfortable lead for Harris. We expected that, but let me just check 2020 and go ahead and use the slide again. Okay, so she's performing 0.5 point better than Joe Biden finished from 4 years ago. So we're keeping track of that. You went in Virginia. I'm getting there, guys. Hang on 1 second here. Just got to move the meter, and we'll see what's happening here in the Commonwealth.
All right, so while you're checking that, Charlie Hurt's from Virginia.
Yeah. Tight squeeze.
So what are you looking at, Charlie?
Tight squeeze, Virginia.
What are you looking at?
So it's kind of interesting, actually, that this is so close, especially if you looked at the early numbers across the state. It was fairly extraordinary with the early vote, both early mail-in vote and then early in-person vote. All of the big D-plus counties in the state were significantly down from 4 years ago, including the big counties like Fairfax, Richmond, and then all of the R-plus counties were significantly higher this time than they were 4 years ago. And so if you had just looked at those early numbers and then look at this, it's actually not that surprising that it's this close, even though Virginia is, for all intents and purposes, a blue state now and has been since George W. Bush, or since Obama anyway. But it is, I think that Governor Youngkin, who said, watch out, it's going to be tight here, is probably looking at those same numbers and realizes that this thing might actually be the surprise of the night.
Yeah, a lot of people drifted to Northern Virginia, suburbanites. There's not a great Trump vote in that near D.C., counties, Kellyanne, and that's what we're looking at here is where that vote is outstanding and whether it changes the dynamic.
No question. And Glenn Youngkin has been a great partner to Donald Trump this whole time on the campaign trail. He told me personally when I asked him, do you think it's really competitive a couple months ago? He said, I think you're going to force Biden-Harris, now Harris, to spend some time and money there. And that's happened. But it was ground zero for the parents' rights movement, the school stuff in 2021. I want to say something. Kamala Harris's team was smart and strategic to go for the 3 states in the blue wall. Since they've gone Democrat from 1992 to 2020, 28 straight years with the exception of 2016, they went for Trump. They've always voted as a bloc, but they also ran out of choices. I would have thought she'd do better in those more racially diverse Sunbelt states like Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, and even North Carolina. She's in the very white states trying to become president of the United States. Here's the problem I see for the Harris and the Democrats right now. Demography is not destiny. That's what I think of this electorate. We think we're only going to get women by talking about abortion. We're going to get Hispanics if we talk about immigration. That's how Trump is getting it. We're going to get African Americans if we talk about this. Whose big idea was it to over-prosecute Donald Trump with all these cases? You think a lot of black men in this country didn't stand up and say, I think the system has been against me. I think that's unfair, to say nothing of the fact that they want economic upward mobility like everyone else. They're school choice voters. They think that people coming over the border are taking their jobs. And you got Barack Obama telling them, you're not right. Stop telling us who we are, what we think, how to eat, how to vote. This is the election where people are turning on its head. Last point, young voters. I think Harris is going to underperform Joe Biden nationwide on young voters. There too. Let's get rid of the old guy and put in the 60-year-old woman and then call Donald Trump old. That's how we'll get young people. It's not how you get young people. You get young people if they think they can afford a house before they're 52 under your policies. You get young people if they think they want to be president of their own small business, not president of this country one day, and they can survive and thrive doing that. So this whole demography thing that we should vote according to our gender, our race, our age, this is the election where I think that hit a wall.
Can I ask a quick question just to Mark and Kelly? If things hold right now in where we are, does she only have to win the blue wall just for the sake of the audience to win this? So if everything happens, she wins Arizona, he wins Nevada, he wins Georgia, North Carolina. If she wins Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, does she win?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So the blue wall remains what we have.
She has one big path. Yeah, he's got 2 paths, but you got to get one of them.
Is that true, Bill?
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because it gets her to 270 with the 3.
Yeah, right. with the 3 plus Nebraska too. I think it's too early to start filling this thing in here. I want to start it just yet, but I don't know. We're kind of warming up the fryer or whatever you say when you get
But just show how it happens. Just show the 3.
For her, it would be Nebraska 2. Well, we got to go a long way. So it's going to take me a while to get there. Okay. So she would have to win all the usual states here. It's just too many to fill in, right?
Oh, gotcha.
Boom, 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 boom. Yeah,
that's good.
Oh my gosh, what am I missing? Holy cow. Okay, Maine,
Nebraska 2.
Hawaii.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's why I didn't want to do it just yet, because we got to go a ways. But maybe like another half hour, an hour or so, we'll fill in a few more. If you got time, I'll take you to Arizona, unless you got something else to do.
Love to go there.
Let me go ahead and reset this because there's some movement here. There's some movement here in the American Southwest. This is Arizona. First time we're looking at it on the night. And Trump has just taken a 1/10 of a point lead. Kamala Harris had the edge here for really the past hour. This is Maricopa. This is Phoenix. This is where you get 60% of the vote statewide is in Maricopa County, all right? She has an edge at 2.2 percentage points for all vote 563,000. I'm going to bring out the slide again, okay, and go back to 2020. And this is Joe Biden in Arizona. So she's up about half a point, not quite. All right. But Donald Trump's performing a little better right now at this point, but there's still just about half of the vote out and too soon to call there in Arizona. Let me come back to modern day 2024 and see if this has changed. It has not. This raw vote's 2,200. So we'll watch that. Just want to take a sneak peek at that. You guys mentioned Iowa, the state that shall not be named, or the poll that shall not be named. This is nuts. 14 and a half points.
Wow.
Yeah, that's not even.
Somebody's not having a good night.
Guys, there's a ton of votes still out there, too. This thing could go higher. Anyway, back to you
It's
guys.
a little outside the margin of error. Okay.
All right, let's go over to Sandra and get a look, because we've been talking about young voters, and you have some new stuff from our Fox News voter analysis,
Sure.
Sandra.
I'll build off of what Kellyanne just said about the Hispanic voters in just a second. I'll dive into age first for you, Martha. And it is pretty incredible, some of the data that we're seeing in our Fox News voter analysis. This age group 65 and over, okay, it is a dead heat. Split the vote there, but just note Donald Trump led this group by 3 points in 2020. So he is in fact slightly underperforming with that group. But here is a huge story that we are seeing develop. Voters under age 30, 52% of the vote going to Harris, 44% to Trump. That's an 8-point margin that she's leading by. Biden led with this group by 25 points. Kellyanne was just talking about this a moment ago. He led by 25 points with this age group back in 2020. She is significantly underperforming with the younger voters right now. Want to jump back in and also talk about the Hispanic vote and what we are seeing there. This also telling a huge story of the night. Kamala Harris getting 56% of the support there. Donald Trump, 40. Okay, so she's leading by 16 points. Biden led with this group by 21. Again, she's underperforming there. I want to break that down by gender when it comes to the Hispanic vote, because this also telling a story. Hispanic women, for example. Okay, Harris is leading by 24 points with this group right now. Biden led with this group by 34. Hispanic women underperforming there. Comes with Hispanic men. Look at this story. Harris is up by 6 points with Hispanic men. Biden led with 19 points. So there is really some interesting stories developing with the younger voters and the Hispanic vote out there. Brett and Martha, as you know, we have heard it on the ground. A lot of those American Hispanic voters, they don't like what they're seeing with illegal immigration in this country. They've been speaking about that. We are seeing that show up in our analysis.
Sandra, thank you.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff, especially
Very.
that Hispanic vote.
And that gap, that 20 plus gap that we're seeing, we've been seeing it for a long time. We've been talking about it for a long time. It has shown up in polls that she was underperforming Biden by more than 20 points with Hispanic voters, Britt. It's a very seismic change.
Which means that if it comes down, as we now I think have agreed at this desk that it does to those three blue wall states being her chance of victory, are on a very narrow path, that if these numbers are meaningful about how she will perform broadly speaking, and I think they're big enough now that we can say they are, her chances of pulling this off would be the biggest thing we've ever seen. Amazing come from behind victory, and I think the odds on that are very long indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, it's a significant, to say the least, point that Kellyanne was making, which is that it all stops, right? And I think that I don't even know if in 2028 we'll still be talking about the Hispanic vote, right? Because with every immigrant group that comes through, eventually you're just an American. And you care about all the issues that everyone else in America cares about, and it's not so segmented. So I see a lot of those barriers breaking down. Again, I think that the Harris-Biden team has no one to blame but themselves for these numbers. It's the policies that drove these people to vote for President Trump, and he also, the Biden-Harris people pushed them into Trump's open arms. And now they'll have a chance to have a different type of president if he were to win. I know we got the blue wall to see, but the betting markets, everything is sort of going this way. And you sort of have this feeling that the Hispanic vote is no longer going to be so segmented. It's just the vote, the American vote.
and there's a traditional, not to overgeneralize about any group, but the traditional faith-based in many ways Hispanic family that is not responding to what
Kamala Harris is talking about and focusing on.
Gender and race, we talked about the outset, would emerge as big themes because Democrats have enjoyed great advantages with certain groups of people. The numbers didn't show up tonight.
They show
politics
may be a dead end.
Well, what it shows is that we're going to have to, as a party, rethink and reformulate and reconstitute how we think about going after voters. If these votes hold up, and even if they don't, the numbers are narrowing. So you have to rethink this and consider some different strategies. Because as we sit here tonight, Democrats have to be surprised. From what we were told over the last several days about how her numbers were coming home, how people were coming home, this is a very different race.
Hold on one second. David Plouffe said yesterday that she could win all 7 battleground states,
Right.
and said that she could do it. Now, maybe if it turned, she could win 6 of 7, but he said 7 of 7.
He said
the other day.
He did. He said there was a confidence from him that, and Democrats abound that there was.
All right,
even up to early this
Well, all the polling said that it could go either way.
We got to hit a break real quick.
We will. A lot of votes to count still, and we are covering all of them for you. Our special coverage continues. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Trump's pulling ahead in Pennsylvania now with the electoral votes.
Them boys working overtime in that studio. You'll be on TV till like 2 in the morning.
Lost over 46 pounds. And I'm keeping the weight off.
The channel you watching, they're gonna be on TV forever.
Yeah.
So the election.
Yeah, it might last until the morning, huh?
Yeah.
What up, Bean? Bean better get some sleep, man. You gotta get up early, man. No, he's already sleeping.
A little bit.
He's already falling asleep on the calls, huh?
Yeah, I know what that's like.
Pancreas inflammation and gallbladder problems. Call your prescriber if you have any.
It's still kind of early though.
Yeah, it's early. Fernando already checked out though. Where's Nando? Nando already checked out.
He ain't trying to come back then.
Depression or thoughts of suicide may occur. Common side effects include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation, stomach pain, fever, upset, headache, feeling tired, dizzy or bloated, gas, and heartburn. Some side effects lead to dehydration, which may cause kidney problems.
With Wegovy,
I'm losing weight.
I'm keeping it off.
And I'm lowering my CV risk.
Check your coverage before talking to your prescriber about Wegovy.
There's some things that work better together, like your workplace benefits and retirement savings. Voya provides tools that help you make the right investment and benefit choices so you can reach today's financial goals and look forward to a more confident future.
Voya, well planned, well invested, well protected. Here's why you should switch from Google to DuckDuckGo on all your devices. DuckDuckGo comes with a built-in search engine like Google, but it's private and doesn't spy on your searches. And DuckDuckGo lets you browse like Chrome, but it blocks cookies and creepy ads that follow you around from Google and other companies. And there's no catch. It's free. We make money from ads, but they don't follow you around. Join the millions of people taking back their privacy by downloading DuckDuckGo on all your devices today.
Our God calls us.
The Fox News Decision Desk can project that in Maine, Vice President Harris will win the statewide vote. Trump will win an electoral vote in the rural 2nd district in the state of Maine.
Fox News can also project that Maine Senator Angus King will win his race. He's an independent who caucuses with the Democrats. So as we look now, the Senate is ticking up. We're going to look at some interesting races in Ohio and Montana coming up.
So let's check in with Aisha Hasni at the Trump campaign headquarters in West Palm Beach, Florida, where I would imagine the mood is fairly good.
It is very good, Martha. You know, earlier this evening, a lot of folks were coming up to me and saying they're not sure if they're going to get a decision tonight. They thought it was going to take a few days, and that has completely flipped. And people are expecting there to be an answer tonight and it to be favorable for the former president. I just talked to a campaign official who tells me that over in Mar-a-Lago, where former President Trump is right now, watching the results come in. The mood there is positive, and I'm working to confirm right now if the former president made some remarks to a crowd there and what exactly he said, but everyone there appears to be feeling very, very good. And just found out as well that Speaker Mike Johnson, the House Speaker, who's in Shreveport, Louisiana right now at his district, appears to be making plans to come here to be with former President Trump. Back to you.
Aisha, thank you very much. We'll keep a close eye on Trump headquarters as we continue to give you some more updates on what's going on right now. You know, we don't have a call for any new states at this point. We're waiting for Montana, waiting to get a look at the Sheehy race in Montana as well. And we have some new guests who have joined us on the panel that we want to get to. So let's welcome them in.
Sim's going to be crying when Trump wins, man.
And then we'll get right to you guys. Wow, time is going so fast.
It is now 11 p.m. in New York, and 4 West Coast states have just finished voting. The Fox News decision desk can project that Vice President Harris will win California, the Golden State, 54 electoral votes, biggest prize, more than any other state in the country.
And Fox News can also project that Harris will win Oregon, adding 8 more votes to her electoral college vote. Harris will also win Washington, another reliably Democratic northwestern state.
But the former president will win Idaho's 4 electoral votes. So as we see the race to 270, it's now 216 to 193. Race is changing quickly. I am getting some word from the Democrats who have now...
She won Cali just like I thought, man. They had 54 electoral votes. That put her up to 193 now, to 213.
And the early vote expectations in Bucks County. They go into state by state of where
If Trump wins Pennsylvania electoral votes, he has it.
These are the blue wall states, because that is the path that we're looking at. In Wisconsin, they say we know there's a significant amount of vote remaining in Dane and Milwaukee counties, and we are seeing signs of strong performance in the WOW counties. We just have partial data. We don't expect complete results from Wisconsin until tomorrow morning between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. We shall see.
We shall see. California Senate race, as we talked about, can project that the current Democratic Congressman, Adam Schiff, will win his race against former Major League Baseball player Steve Garvey in that Senate race. And Washington's incumbent Democratic Senator Moreh Qadar will win her 5th term. Not big surprises on that front this evening either. So here's the balance of power in the Senate: 49 for Republicans. The majority is 51. They have flipped 1 seat, 42 for the Democrats, as we wait for a number of these big Senate races to be called. Ohio, Montana, Pennsylvania, all will really dictate the future of the Senate.
And Michigan. Let's bring in our panel: Britt Hume, Dana Perino, Harold Ford Jr. They've been here for a while. Kevin O'Leary, Jessica Tarloff, and Ben Domenech. Jessica, are you surprised?
Surprised is a very generous term for how I'm feeling in this particular moment. It is in Democrats' nature to be anxious, and we are certainly at peak anxiousness. I think the conversation that you were having in the last panel about the Latino vote is really interesting. Some of these numbers are a little bit jaw-dropping, looking at, potentially a 45% for Donald Trump in some states. And that is going to cause a real reckoning within the party on how we talk about, message to, and integrate, a huge part of our base typically in all of this. I would say, though, that the campaign and people that I've been speaking to have said nothing has been called. Our paths to 270 have not been blocked off. And as we continue to get more vote in, and I should add to the numbers that they messaged to you, Detroit is coming in. And Detroit had a very good day with in-person voting today. And the suburbs of Atlanta outperforming where Biden was there. One point of concern is that she's not doing as well in the rural areas as Biden did. And that's something that they're paying attention to. But I'm hearing more and more from people that I'm speaking to, blue wall, blue wall. And this morning we were talking about, well, if you pick up North Carolina and Georgia, again, they're not off the map, but it is feeling like more of that laser focus on the easiest route.
Ben,
welcome, first of all. Good to see you tonight. I'm sitting here thinking about the rethink that Republicans went through after Mitt Romney lost. And they did this huge...
Hey, you debtors, go ahead and get some sleep, man. I'll let you guys, you debtors, know who won in the morning, man. Go to bed, debtors. Punch that clock in the morning.
Stunning when you think about that. That was Mitt Romney's loss. And it appears...
Y'all gonna be hanging with Roscoe Church.
Donald Trump.
Well, they called it an autopsy at the time, and I think it's turned out to be an autopsy for a party that was dead. And I think that Donald Trump has done something incredible in resurrecting it with a new coalition that, a lot of people never thought Republicans were going to be able to reach, that they weren't going to be able to cut through a lot of these different fundamental problems that people thought were there in order to reach these different sets of the electorate. And look, I think the big question they have to be asking is how much of that is tied to Donald Trump himself and how much of it is something that the Republican Party going forward can build on. Regardless of whatever ends up happening here tonight and tomorrow morning in terms of these blue wall states and the things that we take away from it, certainly we can take away this is the most incredible political comeback that we've seen since 1968. It's the most incredible remaking of the Republican coalition that we've seen in a way that was really unexpected by all but a handful of people. And how they build on that, how they choose to prioritize policies going forward could make a big difference in whether they're able to hold on to it in the future or whether it's something that goes away if Donald Trump isn't at the top of the ticket.
Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful. The markets now have it at 92.5% for Donald Trump winning this election to Kamala Harris at 7.0%. You're a market guy. How do you read this?
I'm going to stay on this theme for a moment and call this perhaps the greatest night the Democratic Party can ever have if they lose. And let me explain that. I was very troubled just over 100 days ago when they circumvented the democratic process and anointed somebody. The analogy is easy to a Super Bowl. You arrive at the Super Bowl game, and by any measure, this is the Super Bowl of global politics, the presidential race. Your quarterback, Biden, is injured. He's taken out of the game. You don't bring a quarterback in that's never, ever, ever won any game anywhere. You run a process. And they missed that opportunity. This is a chance for them to, I'm not saying they're going to lose, but I'm going to those percentages and saying they get to reboot. They get to go back to the center. They get to scratch this whole thing. And the influences of a Schumer or a Pelosi or a movie star or an Obama deciding to anoint somebody, those guys are gone in 4 years. They won't have that kind of influence. This could be great for America because I'm an investor. I have to work with who's ever in the White House in January. But I care about policy. And when I hear policies coming out of a party that are so twisted against the American way of life, like basically taxing capital gains that are unrealized, that's not America. Or price controls, that's not America. 28% tax rate takes us to the bottom quartile of competition. That's bad. We can't do that. That would hurt the country. And all I do is work with entrepreneurs that want to build businesses. There's a reason people come here under barbed wire and drown in rivers to get into America. It's the American dream. It's the only thing the president has to do is to maintain it. Those policies are against the American dream. And I have nothing against Harris. I mean, look, she did a masterful job in getting to where she is. It would be good for them to lose tonight. It would reset and reboot and get that party back to the center. It would be good for them. They may not want to hear that.
We don't.
But they may have to. You may have to deal with it. You may have to.
Kevin, I would love to win and do the reboot. We can still do those things. We bring you right into the party to help us do it.
We're going to take a pause right here because we have a big call to make right now.
We do indeed. The Fox News decision desk can now project that Republican businessman Bernie Moreno, who started his entrepreneurial career in the car company and buying auto shops in Ohio, has won and unseated incumbent Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown, who has been an Ohio institution for a lot of years. This is an important flip For Republicans, the party is edging closer to an outright Senate majority tonight, and there are still a couple of places yet to be heard from.
Right. Now, think
Senate
about
races.
this. Now, if the Democrats would somehow hold on to the John Tester seat, that would be a different math. But as you look at the balance of power in the U.S. Senate, is this Moreno speaking right now? Can we go in there?
Let's listen in for a couple minutes here.
There we go.
Look, today starts a new wave. You know, we talked about wanting a red wave. I think what we have tonight is a red, white, and blue wave in this country. Because what we need in the United States of America is leaders in Washington, D.C. that actually put the interests of American citizens above all else. We're tired of being treated like second-class citizens in our own country. We're tired of leaders that think we're garbage, and we're tired of being treated like garbage. You know, my opponent talked a lot about helping the working man, and I will agree with him on the need to help working Americans. But the difference is talk without action is nothing. So what we're going to do, thanks to now having a Republican majority, by the way, how about that, in the United States Senate? And Chuck Schumer, if you're watching, thanks for the help in the primary, but you're fired, buddy. This is a new dawn of Republican leadership. With President Trump and J.D. Vance in the White House, we are going to advance an agenda that is an American agenda. An agenda that says we are pro-immigration, but not pro-invasion. We're going to make certain that the people who come to this country are invited here like I was, like my family was, on our terms. We're going to make this country an energy-dominant nation so that my kids do not grow up in a country where we ever rely on a foreign nation for energy ever again. And we have that energy right here in Ohio. That means coal, that means natural gas, it means oil, and it means nuclear. And in terms of EV mandates, they need to be gone first thing in January.
Bernie Moreno, the winner in the U.S. Senate seat in Ohio. This is a major pickoff for an incumbent senator in Sherrod Brown that ran ads that said he was, you know, at least working with former President Trump. He ran heavily on the issue of abortion and thought that they were going to make headway there. There were all kinds of polls, including the one we talked about earlier, that had Democrats fired up about women in the Midwest. Sherrod Brown won in 2006, 2012, and 2018. He was pro-labor. They thought he was safe at the beginning. This race was well run by Bernie Moreno, and this puts them closer to a Senate majority. He said it is a Senate majority. There's still the possibility that John Tester holds on in Montana, although he was behind going in. Deb Fischer in Nebraska, we're still watching that race very closely. But if they hold all of those, you could have a scenario where you're looking at 52-48, 53-47.
You absolutely could. And it's worth pointing out that these Senate candidates, if he is one of a few, potentially, as Brett just said, they all closed very strong. I mean, these races were not considered competitive. You didn't see them on TV a lot because they weren't really considered to be in the game, but they are closing very strong, and we're going to keep an eye on all of them as they do. It's interesting to point out, you know, his family immigrated here from Colombia, and you know, he talks about the American dream, about immigrating here, and it raises questions about how immigrants feel about immigration, because he is very much in favor of closing the border.
Yeah, his brother was the ambassador.
There's a lot on that. You know, Garrett Tenney, our reporter in the Midwest, he's done a couple of pieces for us on a couple of small towns, one in Ohio and one in Indiana, that were completely just doubled overnight almost by immigrants. And he talked to families who have kids who are like, they can't even go to school anymore. They dropped out because nobody could be taught anymore. No one can find a place to live. I'll be very interested to see what Sandra Smith pulls out of that state of Ohio. Now, Donald Trump ran very strong in Ohio, and that helped Bernie Moreno as well. It will probably help Deb Fischer. I
I think it even helped Ted Cruz, even though I think Ted Cruz was always going to win, it helped him win by a larger margin. Another point is Sherrod Brown has been there forever. Incumbents usually win, but this past 4 years has seen a remarkable amount of incumbents all around the world, up and down the ticket. You think of what happened to the Conservative Party, the Tory Party in the UK, they lost everything because there was just throw the bums out type election, and Kamala Harris is basically weighed down by the Biden administration, and she still couldn't come up with something that she would change, and I think people are reacting to that.
And once again, you have a state like Ohio where Sherrod Brown was able to hang on, even though it has been basically a red state for quite some time. Yep. And sometimes the migration of this kind of party move in a state takes a little while, takes a couple cycles.
Surprised by this one?
That Sherrod Brown, there were a lot of Democrats who thought like you thought at the way you posited the question, that he's held on for a long time, he's running tough races, and that he had appealed to enough Republicans over the many years. But Moreno was a great candidate for them. He hung in there, and what it goes to show also is this issue of energy security. It's going to be interesting to see how this continues to play out in Pennsylvania this evening. Ohio and Pennsylvania both, and even Montana, where energy is a big, big issue. These three Democrats may have run up against a challenge here that they can't overcome.
This shows you a little bit of break in the blue wall. If Ohio's 10 points and Bernie Moreno takes off Sherrod Brown, don't you, as you're looking at Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, say there are similar issues in these states?
That's what I'm saying. No, I don't. Brett, the answer is a resounding unfortunate for me. Yes, I think you can begin to see that where that crack could come, if not a whole collapse.
Can I make one last point? $161 million spent on the Bernie Moreno race by the Senate Leadership Fund. McConnell's basically the pact to keep the Senate majority. $161 million.
And in part, that's because they understand if we have one more of these things flip, think about what that does to the Supreme Court and the decisions that will be made by some of the justices
and
there.
We're one seat away from a majority for the Republicans, and Republicans have been counting as if it were a done deal all along on Montana Senate, where there's very little vote in, which I think is the reason it's too early to call. Not too close to call, because at this hour, Bill, according to what you just showed me on that map over there, that wonderful map of yours, John Tester's the Democrat John Tester, Democratic incumbent, is well behind with only 6% in.
Yeah,
but
it seems like
he's down.
Just getting going a little bit there, right?
Yeah, 14 points. But I mean, that's in line with what has been the expectation.
But listen, if you look at Ohio, it's a similar issues to Mike Rogers in Michigan. And there's similar issues in Pennsylvania for Dave McCormick. We're going to take a quick break right here. The race to 270 slowly taking shape. 270 is the electoral votes needed to win. The vote count changing by the minute. Check out that popular vote. Check out the popular vote. Our special coverage continues after this.
Election night on Fox News Channel is brought to you by Simply Safe Home Security. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
GURPS. Modern home security, my tale. What's Simply Safe got that I don't?
24/7 monitoring that acts on an alarm in 5 seconds to help stop crime in real time.
Stop. This is Simply Safe. Police are on their way.
Plus no contracts, ever.
Maybe Simply Safe and I could work together.
Scaredy cat.
There's no safe like Simply Safe.
The votes are in. The next president of the United States is...
My kingdom does not belong to this world. Repay to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and to God what belongs to God.
Jesus, we trust in you. Amen. Someday it's all going to be yours. I promise.
The epic return of Yellowstone.
There's no peace for this family, only revenge.
And our enemies don't fight fair. I know what to do. Believe in me.
I've always believed in you.
You destroy me, you destroy yourself.
Yellowstone. Watch on Paramount Network this week.
I got this $1,000 camera for only $41 on Deal Dash.
DealDash.com. Online auctions since 2009. This PlayStation 5 sold for only 50 cents. This iPad Pro sold for less than $34. And this Nintendo Switch sold for less than $20.
I got this KitchenAid stand mixer for only $56. I got this barbecue smoker for $26.
And shipping is always free.
Go to DealDash.com right now and see how much you can save.
You believe you were sent by God?
Yes.
Repent! Come and be baptized in the River Jordan! I speak in the name of the one true God.
Welcome back to our coverage of a big election night, and things are shifting by the moment. We are too early to call right now. The decision desk says in Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, as you look at these on the screen there. But you can see that Georgia, we're the lead with 90% in. As Bill talked about earlier, the Atlanta vote, we're still waiting on that, and that could be why the decision desk is holding back there. North Carolina, also 89% in, 136,000 votes. That's starting to get into territory which is tough to close depending on where that vote stands out. The big, obviously, states that we're watching are the blue wall states, Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, 65% and 75% in. But again, the former president leading now. And the question is, how much of that vote showed up for Vice President Harris in the Philadelphia area, the suburbs, the Bucks County areas in Pennsylvania. We also have an update from Wisconsin.
Indeed, we do. Mike Tobin is standing by with an update. This has really been the biggest problem area that we've seen, at least so far. We're waiting for a number of these cities, Mike, but give us an update on what's going on with the machines there and what you expect.
Well, we're hearing from more of the Wisconsin election officials, and they still want to push off the idea that this was a legitimate mistake, and they have recounted these 31,000 ballots or retabulated these 31,000 ballots out of an abundance of caution. What you're looking at right now is one of the tabulation machines, and if you look at the back of the tabulation machine, you should be able to see some red stickers. Those red stickers are the seals. The seals were in place on these 13 machines. What was not engaged with the locking mechanisms on the doors there. The machines operated for hours. When a Republican observer noticed it, flagged it, that particular problem, the city and also the executive director of the Wisconsin Election Commission says that was the 31,000 ballots were run through again, as she put it, so no one could use a procedural misstep to call the legitimate votes into question. That's Megan Wolf, the executive director of the Wisconsin Election Commission. Now, I talked with Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson. He said the whole process is sloppy.
Have been done 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning with Republican observers going, yep, that's locked, that's properly sealed, locked, properly sealed. Why didn't they do that? Again, this has just been sloppy. And as the chairman of our party said, they've got one job to do, and they didn't do it very well.
Now, here at Central Count, there are some 108,325 ballots. These are the mail-in ballots, drop-box ballots, and in-person absentee ballots. Some 80,000 of these ballots have now been counted, but the whole process has been delayed because this 31,000 had to go through a second time. Guys, back to you.
Mike Tobin, thanks. Just an update from our own Chad Pergram, talking to Democrats and Republicans about the House races as we are looking at the Senate, and they're poised to take control if they hold the rest. The House is looking like it very well could flip to the Democrats. A couple of races, Vindman in Virginia. We're not calling that, but they're looking really good. There's a few races in New York here, the Brandon Williams race to John Mannion. So Dems essentially, we won't know until California, where a number of those seats are up. They're doing what they need to do to hit the marks to flip the House. So that could be a bright spot for Democrats tonight.
So let's go to look at some. We're going to Trace Gallagher and talk to him and his panel out on the West Coast, because we are waiting for a lot of California races, as Brett was just saying. Brett, Trace, tell us a little bit about what you're seeing out there on the West Coast tonight.
And we're going to pick up the last 3 hours of this coverage tonight, Martha, so we're kind of gearing up for that. It's interesting. The big news out here, of course, California, no surprise, went to Kamala Harris. Interesting, though, because Proposition 36, which is the big story here in California, that would revise Proposition 47, which lowered the thresholds of crime. It really allowed crime in California to run rampant. We have our panel here, Steve Hilton, Jody Armour, Kayla McGee-White, and Gianno Caldwell. Steve Hilton, to you very quickly. Prop 36 is winning dramatically right now. It's expected to win. It would be a big deal for this state.
It's a massive deal because it shows that people have had enough of this far left attitude on crime. And it's not just that proposition. You see it on some of the other ones, on rent control and raising the minimum wage. It's a really interesting shift. And if I may, Trace, the other big point for us here in California, you look at this change, this massive reconstruction of the Republican Party under Donald Trump's leadership and the Latino vote here in California, the largest group now. And this points to the future of the Republican Party, because actually, if you think about the Latino vote, how long have we been told that the Democrats benefit from the diversity of the nation and the future? Look what's happening. The more diverse America becomes, the better Republicans can do if we keep going with this new Republican Party that Trump has fashioned.
Yeah, it's a very good point. And, you know, it's interesting, Kayla McGee-White, because we talk about Proposition 36, and Kamala Harris was asked about Prop 36. She would not weigh in on this. She wouldn't say whether she voted for it or against it, and that's significant.
And this was one of many policies where she refused to provide a clear answer on where she stood. And, you know, this strategy of avoidance, which we've seen repeatedly throughout this campaign from her, it was a gamble. She thought that because she was slipping in the campaign at the last minute and because she was running against Trump, that voters wouldn't notice or they wouldn't care, that she was giving them a whole bunch of nothing. But I'll just say, I'm from one of these swing states, from Michigan. And even in the swing states, it matters a lot where Kamala Harris stands on something like Proposition 36. Because if she doesn't want California to take crime seriously, what about the rest of the country?
Yeah, and nobody takes crime more seriously than Gianno Caldwell. You have studied this, Gianno, and this is a big deal going forward for California should this pass.
That's right, and that's why I started the Caldwell Institute for Public Safety. I got to tell you, I'm glad to see that many voters in the state of California have been pushing back against crime. Unfortunately, Gavin Newsom has been very supportive of the initiative of Prop 47. He thinks that there shouldn't be any changes. But this is a major problem, and I think we see this not just with this particular prop, but we've seen it with a lot of progressive prosecutors funded by George Soros, people like George Gascon, who people are fed up with, and that's why Nathan Hochman, who's running for district attorney of Los Angeles County, is predicted to potentially win this one really big. I think the Democrats who've fashioned the idea that if you be soft on crime, then there's going to be criminal justice reform, when in fact there's been nothing but justice for the criminal.
It's going to win. It's probably going to win big, Jody Armour, but the governor of California is against it. He thinks it's just going to raise the number of people going to California prisons.
Yeah, well, the fact that Harris wouldn't answer the question about what she voted on this, a former prosecutor. She said, I'm the top cop. She, you know, her bona fides are that she's law and order.
She was one behind Prop 47.
Right. And so she wasn't, she's a frictionless weather vane. She gives you that impression. Going blowing whatever direction the wind blows, she's willing to go there. And that was another example. She should have said, I was the top cop. I'm 436. I see the error of my ways. You know, I see crime going in a certain direction or whatever. But instead, she does this frictionless weather vane routine, and people
but you can't expect her to do that when she was the one posting links about rioters and looters during the George Floyd era. This is not somebody who's about law and order.
Gianno, Kayla McGee-White, Steve, Jody, thank you all. Martha will be here later in the night when everybody gets tired there in New York, and we'll handle it from there. Back to you guys.
Okay, Trace, thank you very much. We're looking into a lot of different numbers that are coming in, and as you know, this is all baking. Bill's at the wall trying to go into different places. Wisconsin's on the board right now.
Yeah.
Bill, what do you got?
Just picked up something from the New York Times. I just want to repeat this. I was trying to locate this on the map, and it's true. Right now, Donald Trump, in the big cities of America, Miami, Chicago, New York, Dallas, and Houston, he is improving on his margins from 2020 by double digits. You think about that, right? Since COVID, you think about immigration. You think about the homeless crisis. You think about how our cities have changed over the past 4 years. Maybe that's having an impact. Now, what I'm looking at here is Wisconsin. I just want to point out two things in Wisconsin. And I want to compare that to what's happening in Pennsylvania, because I think there's a trend that is favorable toward Trump, okay? So here we go, Dane County. I'm going to take you back to 2020. I'll just compare the numbers for Biden and Kamala Harris, okay? So this is Madison, University of Wisconsin, et cetera. Ton of Democratic votes in this county. So she is underperforming Biden's mark by about 1.7 points. And that translates to, it could be tens of thousands of votes. Trump, meanwhile, is up about 1.4 going back to 4 years ago. Let me come up here to La Crosse, all right? You get Democratic votes here in La Crosse. Right along the border there with Minnesota. So this is Biden 4 years ago. It's not quite 2.5, but it's close to it, where she's underperforming in a county where she should be doing better. And here you go, Trump doing 2.5 points better in that particular county in Wisconsin. So we'll keep an eye on that. Come out a little broader here. Come back to 2024. Hang on one second, guys. We'll go into Pennsylvania and try and prove a similar theory, all right, in two places. One is Allegheny and Pittsburgh. The other is Philadelphia. So we'll put this map into motion here. Put the slide bar out, okay? She's nearly meeting her number in Allegheny, off a half a point. Trump's doing slightly better, just 0.6 points. The last time I looked at that, she was dead even with the number from Joe Biden from 4 years ago on a percentage-wise. Come over here to Philadelphia, because this is really where, if you're a Democrat, you want to win the state, you got to run your numbers up in Philadelphia. And this kind of matches what I just read from America's big cities. In Philadelphia, she's underperforming Biden's mark from 4 years ago. And Trump is overperforming where he was 4 years ago. So, when you think about the number of votes that are available in Philadelphia, and you have 300,000, right? And that's a huge difference. I mean, you can run the totals up and never look back oftentimes in Pennsylvania if you're a Democrat running with a number like that. So let's take this off the screen. Come on back to 2024, and you guys are asking, how come we can't call North Carolina? Well, we may be getting closer because Mecklenburg is in, and Wake is pretty much in. This is Guilford, that's Greensboro. You had a lot of campaigning down there. It's a fast-growing area, too. There's about 22% of the estimated vote is still outstanding. It's an impressive number. I haven't looked at this yet. Let's just go see Joe Biden. Okay, so pretty close to where Biden was. The raw number is lower, but on a percentage basis, she's just about hitting her number, and Trump's just a little higher, just a little bit there from 4 years ago. So maybe that's the reason you can't make a call in North Carolina. Maybe, and maybe that changes in a moment here. We'll see. So this is Georgia. Too soon to call yet again. Let's see with the 134,000. So 2.7. That has been consistent, guys, for a while now. On a percentage basis, it has not much moved. Trump is favored just under 3%. I can go hunting around trying to figure out why you can't call it. I would have to think maybe, DeKalb County still got a little bit of vote out there. I'm up here to Gwinnett County as well. A little bit of vote out there. And Democrats score their points in Fulton, Cobb, Gwinnett, and DeKalb County. So too soon to call right now for the Peach State.
Bill, listen to this. So Jen O'Malley Dillon, I quoted from it earlier, where they're kind of painting the picture of the blue wall and how they're doing great things in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin and Michigan. But at the end of this email, she says, we'll continue to keep you all updated as we get more information. This is what we have built for. So let's finish up what we have in front of us tonight, get some sleep, and get ready to close out strong tomorrow. So the Harris campaign, sorry, it is the Biden folks that run the Harris campaign now. Essentially, you're saying, let's pack up and get some sleep, and we'll see you in the morning.
That reminds me of?
It's 4 years ago,
Clinton in 2016,
exactly
because she said, John Podesta came out and said, we're all going to kind of sleep on this and see how all of this works out, and everyone else was saying, we're calling these states. So
we may stay with us. We're watching it all as our special coverage continues, and we could have some big calls coming straight ahead, whether they're up tonight or not.
What if, instead of giving a holiday makeover to some stranger's house, you revisit your own?
Washington County. This is a big 70% of the vote here for Trump. Let's just double check it to come back. He improved up a little bit. He improved a little bit. And then you come over here to the O. I did wow backwards for you there, the O at the end.
Yeah.
But you go over to Ozaki here, and the former president was at 55% of the vote in 2020, and he's at 56, roughly the same, but a little bit, so Trump is not underperforming. It's maybe within the margins, but when you see that well behind where President Biden was, and now you're waiting on this. I mean, there are some other small things. Let's take a look and see what else is out there. But as you can see, the biggest thing is here, and some of these votes up here, if you're in the Trump campaign, we're talking about, can she come back? But if you're in the Trump campaign, you're also saying, we're pushing. Is there more coming in for us? And the answer is yes.
They got all that Green Bay vote.
The answer is yes when you look up there. So the next thing we learned from Milwaukee is how many votes, what is her percentage, how does it affect the statewide map, and then how much is left?
Yeah.
How much is left? In your biggest area, you have to turn them out. Because then again, I just want to come up here and look at this. Again, Brown County, this is Green Bay, blue collar workers. Trump's getting 61, Vice President's getting 37 or 38 if you want to round that up. That matters.
Oh my God.
That matters.
He almost shot almost 10 points,
Right.
9 points.
But in a battleground state, he's up and she's down in a place where if you're the Harris campaign, the Biden campaign, you're not going to win here. You're not going to win here. But if you make it that race, if you make it that close, instead of that close, you get a better result, period. It's simple math.
Let's go on to the third of the blue wall states, Michigan. Jim Sciutto is at a vote counting center in Detroit. And Jim, you have an update on the vote in Wayne County. Tell us.
Well, let me tell you, we've been in touch with the Secretary of State's office really every few minutes here, trying to figure out when we're going to get another batch of Detroit, of course, the surrounding Wayne County votes. And we're told very soon. They won't put a figure on very soon, but very soon. We know they're working hard, calculating those numbers, counting those votes, and that there have been no issues. They're not encountering any issues with machines, et cetera. This is just a process of getting the work done. We've also been in touch with Macomb County, where we were outside of Detroit earlier today. They are also expecting, they say, another batch of votes to be reported quite soon. And here where we are in Detroit, this is the location where they've been counting the absentee ballots. Just in the last hour, another 2,500 or so absentee ballots came in. That brings us pretty much to the end of the 100,000 that they've expected. At some point in the next hour, we'll see another U-Haul truck come in with the remaining absentee ballots that they've collected from drop boxes around the city here. And they've been counting as they've been going. Remember, because they started counting last Monday. They didn't have to wait till Election Day. So those numbers will be done soon. I will say the Secretary of State told me earlier this evening that she's moving up her expectation that by midday tomorrow, they could report final unofficial results, saying she believes they might be able to do that tonight, perhaps after midnight in the next couple of hours. But of course, they'll have to get those Wayne County numbers done first. And I should note, the Secretary of State just walked in here to monitor the counting of those absentee ballots as she's been doing at precincts around the state.
All right, Jim Sciutto, thank you so much. Jim Sciutto in Detroit. I mean, John, it's 2024. They only have 16% reported in Wayne County, home of Detroit.
One of the things you look for in life are consistency.
Death taxes, Wayne County comes to life.
Wayne County, Gary, Indiana, they're consistent. This is my 10th presidential election, and it's the 10th time you've been counting late in the night, and you're saying, hello, Detroit, hello. It's the way it is. But, you see the Secretary of State's there, Jim is there. Again, that's nothing nefarious. It's just inefficiency, to your point about that we live in the technological age. And Jim just said, they changed the law in Michigan so you could count some of the early votes, beforehand, and then release them after the polls close. So it adds to the why. But right now, let's focus on the what, which is an 86,000 vote, almost 87,000 vote lead for the former president, again, in one of the states he flipped I'll pull that out to make sure I'm right. Yes, he's leading in all three of them now.
Oh, wait, that changed while we were talking.
Changed while we were talking.
She was ahead in Michigan,
ahead.
And now she is no longer ahead. Now Donald Trump is in the lead. Right now, not all the votes are counted, but right now he's leading in all three blue wall states.
Plus North Carolina, plus Georgia, plus Arizona, plus Nevada. We're not done with the count. But this is right now the map of 2016. That is the map of 2016, and that is the 5-alarm fire inside the Harris campaign to get on the phone. Again, we're not done, and we lived through 2020. I want to say it again, slowly and clearly. 2020, this time of night, there were states that changed, and they were largely, Pennsylvania changed, Trump was ahead. In Georgia, things have changed. There's not as many mail ballots out there as in 2020, so I would not expect as dramatic a swing. The question then becomes, go state by state, county by county, is the map there? And, I'm making these, I'm trying to be fair and trying to be, yeah, it's possible, yeah, it's possible. When you're leading in all of them and you're Trump, I mean, that's what you're sitting in the headquarters. So maybe they're not going to win them all, right? Maybe they're not going to win them all, but they're leading in all of them right now. So let's just look at what happened here. They come on in. Number one, it's the smaller rural counties. When they fill in, again, you say, oh, that's not a lot of votes. Well, that's a lot of votes when you have it there, and then you have it here, and then you have it again,